The best thing about watching football this weekend, talking football on Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
And here we go. Welcome into another edition of Rothman and Ice. I'm Matty Ice. Got my man CB on the board doing his thing. And to my right, ladies and gentlemen, I got a former Buckeye wide receiver and a Grey Cup MVP by the name of DeVier Posey. Depo, happy Reaction Monday, my man. How you feeling today?
What's up, Matty Ice? What's up, Columbus? CB, good to see you, man. I feel like I haven't seen you boys in like a month or two, man. This bye week has been long.
It's been a grind, right? But a good weekend. You know, my weekend was relaxing. It was nice.
Okay.
You know, I took a couple days off. I was off Thursday and Friday, so thanks to Dave Biddle and Adam King, a.k.a. our guy, for holding it down for me. AR was in with those guys, and I feel recharged. I feel rejuvenated. I'm ready to go. Watched a lot of football. Got to kick it with the fellas and just be low key this weekend, man. So I have nothing to complain about, and here we are leading off another week going into Ohio State taking on Nebraska this weekend, which we will get into a lot. Before we lay out the menu, Depo, how was your weekend, man? What's been going on?
It was good, man. Like you said, man, it's been a grind, no Ohio State football, but these mid-season bye weeks are very enjoyable. We hauled in a flag football championship this week, tournament champ. Got it done.
There it is.
With the 10-year-old group. Man, we made a mid-season adjustment. We had to score fast, so I put these guys in 2-minute drill, and we were just calling it at the line.
Yeah.
And then the next week in practice, I just kind of made our offense around, just put the running back in pistol, quarterback in shotgun, 2 receiver set, and we were just, calling it at the line, man. And it's very hard for a 10-year-old defensive group to really stop
Coach Depo.
NASCAR offense. It's crazy.
I love it, man. Listen, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your kid. I'm excited for his teammates, man, because that has to be very enjoyable. One of my best friends is a basketball coach. He coaches 7th and 8th graders, man. So I just love going to their games and watching them do their thing and seeing the enjoyment that he has coaching up his kids. I know that's awesome to see him do his thing. Like now, when you got that feeling of coaching as a former player, do you think that's going to ever lead into anything down the road, maybe high school, maybe, some coaching elsewhere? Now that you scratch that itch, do you want more of it?
Here's the thing. I can see why Prime has coached his sons every level up. I like that.
Okay.
I like the fact that he stayed with them at each level, like little league, high school, college.
Okay.
He won't be able to go with them to the pros. I respect it, but at the same time, I love my wife, and I got littles. I got 5 and 2. So, man, that's a long coaching career.
You're a great husband for throwing that in there. You did what you were supposed to do with that, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. Here is what our menu looks like today. 12:33. We do it every Monday. Look at that. Thinking about Wednesday already. Every Monday. We do it at 12:33 with the former Buckeye All-American Jim Lachey. We'll get his thoughts on the Buckeyes coming out of the bye week. 1:33. Jason B. Hirschhorn, who covers the NFL for The Leap, will join us to react to everything that happened this past weekend. And then 2:33, our guy Ian Fitzsimmons, who covers college football for ESPN, will join us to talk about some of the big games around the college football circuit on Saturday, what he expects from Ohio State moving forward, and a lot more. Just quickly, always a reminder, if you ever miss anything from our show, wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be available for you. And do not forget to subscribe to the podcast as well. Again, just a reminder, type in Rothman and Ice wherever you get your podcast. We got some goodies to hand away today, Depo. Got a nice little goodie to give away for our Jacket fans out there, because we will be giving away a pair of tickets to the Jackets game tomorrow night against Toronto. And that puck drop is at 7:30. So stick with us if you're interested in doing that, going to the game, going over to Nationwide on a Tuesday night to watch our Jackets, we will be giving away a pair of tickets at some point throughout the show. So let's get into it. This is Reaction Monday. In Depo, we got to start up with some of the things that happened up in Cleveland yesterday. Bengals go in to the land, come out of that thing with a 21-14 win. I want to start quickly there with just Cincinnati before we get to obviously what is the headliner with Deshaun Watson and your thoughts on what's next for Cleveland. If you're the Bengals, the way you've constructed this thing, Depo, is, you know what? What makes us go is our elite quarterback and our 2-star wide receivers. And you saw yesterday up in Cleveland, both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase having very good days, both those guys getting into the end zone. Overall, it was a decent showing for Cincinnati. I didn't think they looked spectacular. I haven't thought they've looked spectacular the last 2 weeks, but when you faced Daniel Jones a week ago, hey, you got Joey B running away from guys getting to the end zone. That's perfectly fine. A win is a win. And in this one, you just watched the game, and even when Deshaun was in there and when he was out of there, I don't think Cincinnati felt threatened at all by Cleveland's offense. So even when Cincinnati ran into a couple situations where it was, okay, maybe we have to punt here, or, you know, it's a 3-and-out here, whatever the scenario was, it just never felt like the Bengals had to fear that Cleveland was going to put a whole bunch of points up on the board. So just overall for Cincinnati now, you stacked up 2 wins, you get the 3-4, and your season's that's absolutely alive.
Absolutely. I mean, I think even from the beginning of the season, you know, you look at their point margin loss. I mean, they dropped one to New England by 1 score, right? 16, you know, that's 2 field goals, 16-10. Lost by 1 point to the defending champs, to the Chiefs. Hot Commanders, lost by, 5. Then they beat the Panthers. Then they go to OT with the Ravens, divisional rival. Then they get the dub versus the Giants, get back on the win track again, 2 in a row versus the Browns. The Bengals aren't as bad as you really think on paper, right? Like when you really look at this, Joe B isn't playing as bad as you might think. They're starting to gel. They're starting to pick up. I mean, they got the Eagles, they got the Raiders. I can't wait to see them play against the Ravens again at the bank. I know you're not excited for that game, but I think it's going to be a good game, and their season is alive, and they do have a chance to maybe get second in the division, maybe even, tie for first if they can split with the Ravens here.
We know at the core that they can be an elite team, and they may be at that point now to where they're catching some momentum. And this is what we've seen them do in previous years, right? Get off to maybe some sluggish starts and find a way to stack up dubs. And that's all that matters, is getting that core into the postseason, because the core of that team knows how to win big-time games. And you talk about the game against Kansas City, as you were highlighting. I mean, that pass interference right at the end of the game, very ticky-tacky. So they know they can hang with elite teams. So Bengals get it done on their side of things, and they're moving on, looking to rack up 3 wins in a row. Now, the headliner coming out of this game was a massive injury to Deshaun Watson. And Adam Schefter confirmed this morning that an MRI did reveal that Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has a season-ending ruptured right Achilles. And what was interesting, I was out yesterday watching the game, was the reaction amongst Browns fans that were at the bar I was at. I did not feel a lot of sympathy in the room.
That's a nasty reaction there. So I tore my Achilles in New England in the playoffs. And I remember people in the crowd saying, "Oh, get up, you're not hurt," things like that. And feelings were hurt because I couldn't feel my foot. Yeah. And at the same time, that was an away crowd, and I felt like they could have been a little bit more respectful. Your home crowd doing it to you? I mean, Maddie, like, absolutely crazy. Just above and beyond. Like, I get it as fans and what you pay for and what you want out of your quarterback, but anytime somebody can't perform their job and it's a season-ending injury and they go down, like, man, you talk about, that's the definition of insult to injury right there.
You had a quote from Myles Garrett after the game saying, quote, "We don't boo guys that are injured on the field, especially when the cart comes out. We should be ashamed of ourselves as Browns and as fans to boo anyone in their downfall." I think there's been a collective kind of pairing of 2 things happening here. One, it's obviously his average to bad play.
Yeah.
And then the elephant in the room, which is the off-the-field stuff that has followed him since he came to Cleveland. I think that's the pot that was getting stirred together there when he went down with that injury, because there's people that look at him as a bad guy based off of some of the things that he's gotten himself into legally. But on the other side of that, too, is our front office hit you with the largest contract in NFL history, and you haven't provided anything close to that. So, look, Deshaun's done. And now we flip the page to what I believe or what I think will be Jameis Winston the rest of the way. He came in there, provided a little bit of spark, but Depo, as you know, that's kind of, garbage time. Defense is playing prevent. You got to sling it and all those things. You know what you're going to get from Jameis Winston now moving forward, right? Mm-hmm. He's kind of like the friend. You go out with the friend that buys a whole bunch of shots. Like, it's going to be a good night. Yep. But there's probably some regret that's coming at some point.
It's going to be some interception regret.
Correct. There you go. So that's probably what's happening with Jameis Winston. But just this whole ride, Depo, with Deshaun from start to where we are now has just been a horror movie for Brown fans. And then zooming out from that has just been this unfortunate run of miss after miss after miss at the most important position. It's just a pretty wild history in a bad way that this franchise has right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been tough, man. And I felt Myles Garrett's sentiments on, nobody sits on moral high ground here. And you think about the stress that was on Deshaun's shoulder. Obviously, he knows he has a big contract. Obviously, he knows that he's been playing bad and wants to do well for the city. Obviously, following up the Flacco performance and the things they have, in place there. But, when you see a non-contact injury, we're watching it right now, it's tough, man. I mean, as any football player doesn't want to go down like that, man. Trust me, I've been there. It's an empty feeling. So, man, my heart goes out to the Watson family and himself too for, that's a long rehab, 9 to 12 months there. But, the Browns got to keep going. They got to keep rolling. But I think this is where Stefanski makes his hay. This is where he does his best coaching in adversity.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
we've seen this with our own eyes, right? Yes. We saw the offense take off and be able to stay in the fast lane last year with Joe Flacco and a
playoff team.
A similar style of quarterback, a gunslinger in Flacco. There's some of that with Jameis. We'll see if he can hone in, not turning the ball over. Next game for the Brownies will be at home this Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens. So Baltimore will play tonight against Tampa, and then they have to go up to the Muni Lot to take on the Browns in what should be a offense led by Jameis Winston. When we come back, Sunday Night Football over in Pittsburgh. Pretty interesting showing for Mr. Russell Wilson. We will hit you with our thoughts on that and what should be next for Pittsburgh's offense after the break. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Common Man and T-Bone here for Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Bone, did you know the sports book is now called ESPN Bet?
I did, and you can watch your favorite teams on the biggest screen. Place your bets and grab some wings with an ice-cold pint.
Maybe you're too boring and don't want to go to the casino. Good news. You can keep the action going and place your bets on the go with the ESPN Bet app.
The ESPN Bet Sportsbook is your 50-yard line ticket to odds, point spreads, and over-unders.
It's the place to be. Losers must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Hear those leaves crunching under your feet? Feel that cool nighttime air? It's definitely fall in Ohio. Fall is the perfect time to have the Waterworks inspect and tune up your furnace before the cold winter months hit. To inspect and protect your family against those wintertime furnace breakdowns, call 614-232-2222. Or visit thewaterworks.com today to schedule your fall furnace inspection and tune-up. Winter is just days away.
Hey, it's Anthony. If you want to make the best deal in town on a new Honda, make sure you visit my friends at Your Main Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. And Rich tells me you're going to get 1.90% APR up to 60 months on most new 24s and 25 Hondas. They'll give you the details. Of course, you'll get same-day service, no appointment needed. And how about an extra $1,000 for your trade if you have a 2014 or newer vehicle? All with the great people at Your Main Honda of Dublin.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. but she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand. Listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
There's a shocking new government report about the border crisis Sherrod Brown created. According to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, almost 500,000 convicted criminals have entered our country illegally, including nearly 30,000 found guilty of murder and sexual assault, including rape in their home countries. Now they are spread out across America because of Sherrod Brown's policies. But Sherrod Brown says,
I don't hear a lot about immigration from voters.
That's because Sherrod Brown doesn't listen to voters anymore. And while our safety is being jeopardized, Sherrod Brown is making sure illegals get taxpayer-funded benefits, like health care for illegals who get amnesty, Social Security, even COVID relief checks, all paid for by you. 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A sunny and warm day expected today. We are expecting a lot of blue sky. Temperatures 77 this afternoon, so very warm. Not quite as chilly tonight, but still cool enough for a sweater or jacket. Low 47, 78, and sunny on your Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
It's Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
Welcome back in. Matty Ice, DeVier Posey, the former Buckeye wide receiver, in the house today for AR. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Appreciate your time on a Reaction Monday. Bottom of the hour, the former Buckeye great Jim Lachey will hop on to get us ready for the Buckeyes coming out of the bye week. Before we talk about Pittsburgh, I did want to mention this because this came out this past weekend, Depo, in regards to the Browns, that the Detroit Lions may have some interest in Za'Darius Smith, which makes a lot of sense, right, with the Aiden Hutchinson injury. And I know there was some reporting this weekend that if the Detroit Lions do make it to the Super Bowl, that he could, that being Aiden Hutchinson, pop up and possibly be ready there. But this will make a lot of sense now, and I think especially now when you look at where Cleveland and the trajectory of their season is headed, it seems, and the way it started, getting rid of some assets and replenishing the well however you can. I would not be surprised if this happens. So I just wanted to mention that there was some smoke around the Detroit Lions and possibly the Browns and the Lions working out a trade for Za'Darius Smith.
Yeah, I like that trade. I mean, obviously the nasty, fracture to Aiden Hutchinson, man, it was just pretty crazy how that happened last week. But, the Lions would definitely need a rush like that. And, I mean, and Za'Darius is a non-threatening kind of guy that even when Aiden gets back next year, you can still pair him with Aiden. So he would be a big piece to add. And, he's played in the NFC North before too.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
Yeah. So I would love to see him. And I actually played with that dude in Baltimore. Yeah.
He's been around for a minute.
Yeah, he's been around for a while, man. I mean, dude is a beast.
He is, man. And so,
I
thought you brought up a great point because he's familiar with the North. He played in Green Bay, played in Minnesota, and he's a seasoned vet. And to your point about possibly playing with Aiden at some point, he would know how to play with a beast and how to bounce his talents off another guy since he's done that with Myles Garrett.
And on it, I saw a report that said if they make the Super Bowl, he could possibly return.
Which would be crazy.
That's like T.O. That's like T.O. madness right there.
They got the offense to do it, Detroit. Yeah. Their offense is absolutely electric, and we may be hearing about a guy or two or there, a party like a RothStar to round out the first hour. Let's go over to Pittsburgh. Let's go over to Pittsburgh because the NFL schedule this week was absolutely, I thought, incredible, right? With the two NFC North games between Minnesota and Detroit, and then you had CJ and H-Town going up to Green Bay to take on Jordan Love and the Cheeseheads. But Sunday Night Football just had so much intrigue and drama around it because of both parties coming into this with interesting narratives, right? You had, obviously, the debut of Devontae Adams in a Jets uniform, and then you had Pittsburgh rolling with Russell Wilson.
Mr. Unlimited.
He wasn't limited last night.
No.
He looked good, man. I got to be honest. He looked pretty darn good, Depo, and it started off slow. Some boo birds, cameras cutting to Justin Fields on the sideline, Mike Tomlin looking frustrated early on. But then you saw a little bit of what we've seen in the past from Russell Wilson, and that is his ability to get it to playmakers like yourself, but guys right now on the roster and George Pickens is like, oh, wait a minute. They're opening things up. Their aerial attack seems to be more of a threat with Russell Wilson. And so the Pittsburgh Steelers score the highest amount of points they have in any game this year at 37 and do it against a very good Jets defense. And so I said I would have stuck with Justin Fields. I'm looking like I'm going to be wrong in saying that because it does look like what Russell Wilson can provide may give them more, and I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I think with this Pittsburgh team, quarterback play, and this might sound crazy, it doesn't has to be just astronomically great, off the charts good. This team is playing the best complementary football in the NFL right now. I mean, they're sitting 5-2. Obviously, they're coached great, but their special teams impacted the game. I mean, they blocked the kick. Their special teams have been playing great this year. Then also, this team isn't afraid to win on defense. Like, we will stop you. Like, we're okay with getting the dub on defense and putting the game in our defense hands. And then when you get some production from Pickens and Najee Harris has one of his best games this year, and you're running the football. I think I was sitting there watching the drive. They didn't pass the ball once. Najee Harris just took them all the way down to the red zone, and they punched it in. And when you have that balance of a rush attack, the quarterback's not turning the ball over, you're getting, impact from your special teams. The Steelers, like any Steeler fashion, you see why this organization is one of the best organizations for over the last, 50 years is because they have a formula, and that's defense, impact on special teams, don't turn the ball over. And it's so crazy. You think about on paper this Jets team, right? Just acquiring Devontae Adams. You got a Mike Williams, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Garrett Wilson. You would think that this team would be able to go to Pittsburgh and put up more than 15 points, but they ran into a steel curtain, man, for sure.
They absolutely did, and the former Buckeye and Garrett Wilson, G-Dub had that uncharacteristic drop that led to an interception there. I think it'll come together in a couple weeks.
RCI is the stat called. Me and Bake looked that up. So it's a receiver caused interception.
An RCI.
I hate to give those to quarterbacks.
Yeah,
it's
real.
I know.
And that's real, and that's what happened with Garrett last night. Like it hit him right in the chest plate, and you give it to Pittsburgh. I love that you highlighted Pittsburgh's ability on special teams to make things happen.
Yes.
Because it's one of those things that I think myself and I think maybe a few people out there, you don't think too much about until something negative happens. But they have the ability to flip games with taking points off the board with blocked field goals and blocked extra points. And you saw that yesterday. They got their their big three back on the D-line, that being the Steelers, right? When you talk about, I think, the best defensive player in the sport in T.J. Watt.
Absolutely.
Cam Hayward, who has just been a constant for them for years. And then now Alex Highsmith is back, and you saw him buzzing off the edge and creating some static there as well. Here's where I think I'm going to be wrong when it comes to their offense, that being Pittsburgh. I was caught up in what Justin Fields can do with his legs. What I saw last night was the Pittsburgh Steelers can still be a dangerous rushing attack based off of what now defenses have to do with backing out of the box because of Russell Wilson's ability to get the ball to George Pickens downfield and potentially Calvin Austin and Pat Freiermuth and those guys. So it's one game. I don't want to overreact too much, but it does seem like what you said now is in play to where this team can go in week to week and just be well balanced across the board on all three aspects of the game. So yeah, if I was Russell Wilson last night, I would have went to the podium and went full Roman Reigns.
Acknowledge me.
You would have had to acknowledge me after that performance there. So do you think that they're going to maybe do a Justin Fields package at some point, or do you just now stick with Russ?
I think I was talking with Tito last night about like this 30% on if somebody has like 30% playing time, they're not responsible for the full contract.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's playing into it with Fields or Russell. We got to look that up, but it's hard for Russell not to make his case. And here's the thing when it comes to injuries, man. Like Gary Kubiak always said every year, he was like, you can't lose your job to an injury. If you're a starter, if you earned your starting job. But if somebody who replaces you is playing at a Pro Bowl level, by all means, we're going to go with the Pro Bowl playing player. So Justin Fields didn't beat out Russell Wilson in training camp. Just say that. Like, he didn't beat him out. When the preseason ended, his preseason games weren't overwhelmingly better than Russell. So it was Russell's job, but Russell had a calf injury. At what point do you let Russell get his job back when he's healthy?
Here we are.
He gets his job back, goes out and puts up 37.
To your point, Mike Tomlin told us when this marriage came together between Justin, Russ, and everybody over there in Pittsburgh that Russell Wilson was in pole position to start all of this. So I think you're absolutely right.
Mr. Unlimited.
It's his show. And then you look at their schedule. Giants next, bye week, and then at Washington, who may not have Jaden Daniels because he suffered a rib injury yesterday. So Mr. Unlimited got off to a great start. Another man that is unlimited is the former Buckeye great Jim Lachey. He joins us next to talk about the Buckeyes coming out of their bye week. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Open a Platinum Rewards Visa at Kemba Financial Credit Union and secure super low everyday rates so you can pay down debt faster. Apply now at Kemba.org to unlock 2% cash back on purchases for a limited time and pay 0% interest for a full year on balance transfers plus exclusive perks. Restrictions apply. Offer ends October 31st, 2024.
Reichert Chevy's dealing in Dublin.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Shop hundreds of vehicles at ReichertChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. We're dealing.
Trust & Will knows that you're likely celebrating a loved one's birthday this month because fall is the most popular birthday season in America. And Trust & Will celebrates by protecting what matters most. Trust & Will makes estate planning easy and affordable, designed by attorneys but customized by you. Visit trustandwill.com with offer code Columbus for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust & Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Every 4 years, the world watches. Every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Just how liberal could Sherrod Brown be? What are his actual votes?
Well, he backed bills to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports and let transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms.
Very liberal.
Brown supported allowing children to receive puberty blockers and even sex change surgery.
Super liberal.
And worse, Brown even voted to allow late-term partial birth abortions, a procedure where the baby is partially delivered alive. That's right. Brown's votes for partial birth abortion are in the congressional record. And Sherrod Brown voted to allow this terrible procedure not once, not twice, but 6 different times over 8 years.
That's radical liberal.
Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's just way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
IBM and ESPN are unveiling enhancements to the ESPN Fantasy app that put Watson X-powered insights directly in users' hands, giving them access to personalized, data-driven information, such as personalized player grades based on each team's needs, predictions of each player's potential upside and downside, and transparent explanations of AI-generated player grades. Entering its 8th consecutive year, the collaboration between IBM and ESPN Fantasy Football continues to transform football data into compelling and helpful information for fantasy team owners. Sponsored by IBM.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, kids. Anthony once did magic for birthday parties. See, when you say it out loud, it doesn't sound so bad. Back to Rothman and Ice.
Welcome back in. Matty Ice got the former Buckeye DeVier Posey in the house today for AR. Going to light up right now the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and bring on our guy. Super Bowl champion, All-American. It's Jim Lachey, the former Buckeye. Jim, happy reaction Monday. Hope you had a great weekend, my man. How are you?
Yeah, no, it was a good weekend. I got a chance to go up and watch my son play for the Hawkeyes against the Spartans, and that didn't go as well as I planned on Saturday night. But, again, just as good to be there and see him in person and to watch the game a little bit. And first time I've been sat in the stands there at Spartan Stadium, so that was kind of a fun experience. But all in all, you know, we wish we got a victory, but it was a good weekend. The weather was great. Got a chance to do a little boating on a pontoon, actually, on a lake up in Michigan there with my brother-in-law, and so that was fun. You know, just a good weekend, good weather.
Nice, sounds good. Let's get back into it because here we are. You got Nebraska coming into town here in a few days. It'll be big noon kickoff. All of that will be going on. When you look at where Ohio State is now, coming out of this bye week, coming out of that loss against Oregon, when they kick this thing off Saturday at high noon, Jim, what's going to be one thing that you're really going to be focused on?
Well, you know, I think defensively we got to, you know, kind of get back into where, you know, Ohio State's been so good. I mean, first 5 games, they were awesome, getting things done, and just couldn't quite get the stops we needed against Oregon. So want to see the defense kind of step up, obviously pressure the quarterback, get some hits on them, and, stop the run, make them one-dimensional. So those are going to be some of the things that I'm going to be looking for. And then offensively, they're going to have some new pieces, it looks like. Left tackle Zen Mahalski, will be in there with Josh Simmons being out for the rest of the year. And then with Will Kazmarek, the tight end, being out, we'll, probably see a little bit more of Bennett Christian, although G. Scott will, get a majority of those reps. Maybe a little Jelani Thurman, along with Patrick Gerd at tight end. So, those guys, when you get banged up, it's tough. Somebody else has to step up, but that's why you get backups. I mean, that's why you work out. That's why you do all those type of things to come up with a depth chart. And that sooner or later, if you're a second-team guy, you're going to get an opportunity. The old adage, you're just a play away. Sometimes you're sitting there waiting for that play away, and, now you got an opportunity to go out there and get it done. Zen got his feet wet against Oregon, and, now we get a chance to have a whole 2 weeks preparation, get ready for Nebraska, and, come out there and put all the pieces together.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Jim, just you go into a bye week after a tough loss, one loss, and, that 2 weeks can kind of feel like a month. You're hearing the beat writers and the national talk could be a little bit negative, but, the Buckeyes somehow took a week off and were able to kind of stay where they needed to be in the polls. And, you get Indiana going out and putting up 50 on Nebraska. What's your mindset going into this week after a tough loss and seeing your soon-to-be opponent taking a loss like that?
No, you're exactly right, DeVier. The worst thing, as a player is when you do lose and then having that bye week. When you win, practice is a little bit more fun, a little bit more, hey, we're rolling, we're 6-0. But all of a sudden you come off that loss and, everything's getting questioned, hey, that should have been a 4-inch step instead of an 8-inch step, and everything is under the microscope as far as, how the coaches are evaluating and look at you. And that's, that's just the way it is. I mean, because, like you said, we're at Ohio State fans, we've been spoiled to have great football teams for so long. So anytime they do lose one, especially, when it's week 6, the 6th game of the year, usually it's towards the end of the year that we've kind of had to be critical, but you got a chance to rebound and to come back and get that hunger and all those type of things. Now, again, just different pieces, I mean, you'll get a great team like Oregon on the road and lose by, a point where you're just maybe 10 yards away from winning that game or, 10 seconds away from winning that game. So everything is so close. So you don't want to get down too hard on yourself, but still as a team, this is when you count on your veterans, your captains, guys like Emeka and Travion Henderson and, Cody Simon on the other side of the ball, Jack Sawyer, the captain's got to really step up and deliver and, have that message and bring the juice in practice. I mean, that's the key. If you're going to play well, you got to prepare well. So it's always going to come down to preparation, good weeks of practice. Last week they had a chance to, talking to Coach Day last Thursday, that they're trying to rest some of the starters a little bit, get them maybe 4 reps, get the second-team guys, a little bit more reps, third-team guys to kind of keep everybody involved and interested. Because it is, the first week, when the first bye week, that was kind of deemed the improvement week where they had to go out there and improve. I think this week, they tried to get some of those guys that played a lot, a little bit of rest to keep those guys fresh to come in for this final 6-game run that they have. And, they're going to be pretty much favored against every team. I don't know what's going to happen with Penn State, but they're a team that, should be able to take care of their business. I still believe a lot in this team, but some things that we got to get going. We got to have that running game each and every week. And we really didn't have that, consistently against Oregon. Trey ripped off 2 runs for a 53-yarder, a 17-yarder. Next thing you know, we have a 4-play drive and we score. Like, okay, we got that going, but we didn't really get back to that. Weren't consistent with it for a whole 4 quarters. So if you can have a running game, obviously against Nebraska, it's twofold. You want to run the ball and then be able to stop the run to make them one-dimensional offensively. And I think Nebraska is coming in with, they took one on the chin. I don't think anybody, Cornhusker Nation, thought that they were going to lose, 56-7. And kind of listening to that ball game, driving up to East Lansing, and they were radio guys. I've never heard the Indiana guys so giddy. It was like, wow, we're going to hang a 60, on them. We got the 50 burger. Now we're going for the 60, and they talking about, this is, the biggest Big Ten win that they've had in several years. And it was. I mean, they played well in all three phases. And, even with losing, Indiana lost their starting quarterback, with that thumb injury. The backup still came in and performed well. They were throwing the ball well. And, for Nebraska, listen to Coach Rule's post-game press conference, I think they were a little bit in shock. They didn't think they were going to play that way. They thought that, they would come in and be able to compete. So I think, obviously, for Nebraska defensively, they got to get some things turned around, especially in the passing game. They, they had some missed tackles and things like that. But, they got to, come around and find it. They got 7 starters that are seniors, for the Cornhuskers. So they got a lot of vets out there that have played a lot. Been able to get some pressure on the quarterback so far this year with 21 sacks. So, they're going to try to have to go back to basics. Tony White, their defensive coordinator, has got a good reputation, coordinating defenses, putting together with that 4-2-5 that they like to play. So they're going to try to get back to, what they've done. And so far for the year, they've done a good job, against the rush. You're only giving up 102 yards per game. So, just kind of getting back to their basics. But, I think this is, for Ohio State, and, obviously they're heavy favorites in this game, to go out and get back on that winning track. Consistently, we've seen Jeremiah Smith play great all year long. I think that's going to continue. Mecca's really been able to step up. But, I think the eyes will be on that offensive line to see how, Tegra a little bit banged up in that ball game, how he comes out and plays. And, we've got Austin Sarabelt who can certainly step up and play, and, Donovan and, Zen on that left side will have to, really step up their game too. And then, like I said, some of the backups, in that tight end room will get some opportunities. And some of those guys have been waiting, like Bennett Christian. He had, sat out all of last year. So I know he's ready for his opportunities to get a little bit more playing time. And that'll come. He's just going to have to be a little bit more consistent, run blocker. And he's a big dude. He should be able to handle that. But, I think everybody's looking at themselves after you come off a loss and, trying to look in that mirror and find out if you're a little bit better, coaches included.
No doubt. Time for them to get back to the grind. He's the great Jim Lachey. Jim, we appreciate you as always on a Monday. Looking forward to hearing you and Paul on the call on Saturday, and we'll talk to you next week, my man. Have a great day.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
There you go. Jim was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. The Columbus Men's Clinic is the largest and most experienced men's health practice in Columbus. Did you know that their patients average 3 failures with other places before coming to the Columbus Men's Clinic? If you've been waiting to treat your low T or ED, or maybe you had a bad experience with yet another clinic that opened quickly and closed, it's time to get in there and move forward with your sex life, your career, and gym goals. They specialize in seeing guys who think they're out of luck regain hope that they can be successful in the bedroom and beyond. Seriously, go see the team that for 10 years has been #1 in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and get in there. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400, or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com. Coming up next, we always round out the first hour of every Monday with Party Like a RothStar. That'll be right after the break. Don't move. Rothman and Ice right here on the
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hello, I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Knows? Is that really how you say it? The pros who...
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com. Do you need a driveway, garage floor, or patio? Call my guys at Maxima Concrete. They are Central Ohio's most trusted concrete company with 250 five-star ratings on Google. Maxima does over 600 projects a year, so no project is too big or complex. There is still time to get your work in this season, or if you're planning for next year, saving your spot is free because they never take deposits. Mention this ad to get $250 off your project. Schedule an estimate today by visiting MaximaConcrete.com.
Tailgating this weekend? Schmidt's Catering has you covered. Schmidt's will cater your neighborhood party or company tailgate and handle all the heavy lifting. They can even grill for you at your location. Schmidt's is the perfect way to celebrate this football season with their delicious Bahama Mamas, sausages, cream puffs, and more. Let Schmidt's bring their hoss to yours. Check out their full catering menu at schmidthoss.com. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate?
If you have an unhealthy obsession with the Blue Jackets, we have just the remedy. Join us Wednesday nights at 7 for the Inside Edge. All the Jackets and hockey conversation you can handle. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bet. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
Busy schedule? This is Ryan Krieger, and Krieger Ford has you covered. Krieger Ford offers pickup and delivery, or our mobile service van will come right to you. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Saturday is game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Reichert Chevy.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Let's all gather into the Kiki. It's time to party like a RothStar.
Welcome back in. Got the former Buckeye wide receiver DeVier Posey filling in for AR today. Depo, we like to let our guests lead off for segments like this. So, the floor is yours, my man. Who was partying like a RothStar in your eyes?
I'm going to go with the Motor City Lions. Just rolling this year, 5-1. They go against who I believe is possibly the other best team in the NFC, the Vikings.
Hey.
And the second-year running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, shows out. 15 carries for 116 yards, averaging about almost 8 yards a carry, 2 tutties. But when this guy gets the ball in his hands, he is electric.
Mm-hmm.
He's electric. He was electric at Alabama. You see why they spent the first-round draft pick on this dude. He's cashing out. Him, Kamara, Christian McCaffrey. This is a glimpse of the new age running back.
Yeah.
Be able to get it done in between the tackles and get it done in the pass game. Jahmyr Gibbs, my first RothStar.
I love it. I absolutely. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the league. When he gets the rock in his hands, I love that you put him in the same category as Kamara and CMC because he reminds me of when Alvin Kamara came out of Tennessee and hit the ground running immediately down there in New Orleans. And just that Lions offensive playmaking core that they have, However you want it, you can get it week to week because they just have mismatches all over the place at tight end, running back, and wide receiver. So I love that you did that there. First candidate for me, speaking of Tennessee Volunteers, I'm going with the running back that currently is balling for them. And his name is Dylan Sampson.
Yes, sir.
Dylan Sampson this week was on one. Tennessee clips Alabama, hands them their second loss of the year, second loss in conference play. First to Vandy, now to the Vols. Rocky Top was vibing. One of my favorite stadiums to watch at night. When it's rocking, man, that's a good vibe down there. They do it right in Knoxville. But Dylan Sampson, folks, 26 carries, $139 in 2 trips to Paintsville. Dylan Sampson leads the SEC.
Yes, he does.
In rushing yards. He has 838 yards already on the ground. Second behind him is Le'Veon Moss at A&M, and he has 674. He is absolutely cooking right now, averaging 5.8 yards per carry. And Depo, the man, has 17 touchdowns already.
Yeah.
Dylan Sampson is just a dude. And on Saturday against Alabama, he was partying like a RothStar.
I love that. Yeah, he was a part of their, obviously, getting that win, but that rush attack balanced that game for them because I Am Alive he had a lot of trouble with that rush, right? So so them being able to run the ball really helped them get that dub. But to party like a RothStar this week would be an absolute travesty if we didn't highlight this man I'm about to highlight here. Payback is always good, especially when you get it back in blood. And my second party like a RothStar is Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Talk about it.
Yeah, everybody saw the Hard Knocks and the dealing. It went viral. How upset I would be if Saquon ended up being an Eagle. Well, he's an Eagle, and he went for 176 yards on you and a tutty, and he also ran somebody over on the sideline, and it looked like he did that just to make a point. Yeah. So 17 carries for 176 yards and a tutty. Saquon Barkley, you are a RothStar.
That had to feel so good. Had to feel so good. He said going into the game yesterday, he was on the team bus. He saw people tailgating, burning his jersey. You told me that he may have been listening to 50 Cent, Mini Men.
So whatever he's listening to.
Just to get him right. That had to feel good to get that revenge for sure. I love that you highlighted Saquon Barkley. I'm going with another running back in the NFL.
Let's go.
And he's on the losing side of things. His team was. But I've just been so impressed, Depo, with what Joe Mixon is doing.
He's compounding a great season right now.
This is special, right? Missed a couple weeks with the injury, had that ankle injury, got off to a tremendous start. First game in a Houston Texans uniform, 30 carries, $159, 5.3 and a touchdown. And then you go up to Lambeau Field yesterday. You know you don't have Nico Collins. So Joe Mixon woke up and was probably like, there's going to be a lot on my plate. I'm ready to deliver, and deliver the man did. Because Joe Mixon yesterday, 25 carries, $115, and 2 touchdowns. He's got 3 touchdowns over his last 2 games. 3 out of the 4 games that he's played in a Houston Texans uniform, he has gone over 100 yards. He's averaging 5.2 a carry. Some people thought the man may have been cooked. Some people thought there wasn't a lot of tread left on that tire, but Joe Mixon is doing the darn thing next to C.J. Stroud. Mixon's partying like a RothStar.
I love it. I love it. I mean, and he's been a big piece for the Texans this year, too. I mean, he went out and they kind of struggled with the rush. And then also they traded Cam Akers away. So they're really confident in him and Damian Pierce. So, I mean, hats off to him in the season he's having, resurging his career down in H-Town, city of the Purple Sprite, man. Gotta love it.
Be careful with that purple Sprite. Gotta be careful with that purple Sprite. Last one for me. I'm going to baseball because Depo, the World Series is set.
It's set.
And I know Rob Manfred and everybody at the MLB front office, they are absolutely elated with what they have now because they got the coast-to-coast old school rivalry with the Dodgers and the Yankees. 2 big markets going at it. The 2 biggest stars in the sport going at it with Ohtani and Aaron Judge. it won't get much better than this. They said last night, I believe this is the 11th or 12th time that these two franchises have met for the World Series. So that's pretty cool history there. But the last guy I'm putting in Party Like a RothStar is a guy that the Dodgers picked up along the way that isn't one of those superstar names. His name is Tommy Edman. And Tommy Edman in the NLCS helped lead the Dodgers to the pennant by batting .407 in the National League Championship Series with a home run and 11 RBIs. He's playing shortstop for them right now, the most important defensive position in the infield outside of catchers. So you think about the Dodgers, it's Ohtani, it's Betts, it's Freddie Freeman, it's Hernandez. The list goes on and on. But this guy, Tommy Edman, came in and really provided them some stability on defense, but more importantly right now on offense. So shout out to Tommy Edman. He was partying like a RothStar. Top of the hour. After the update, Buckeyes coming off a bye. We will get into what we're expecting to see from them, and also college football this past weekend and where we think things are headed now as we inch closer and closer to the college football playoff. We'll talk about all that next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Three dudes who will make you feel like the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, we hornswoggled you good.
Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. We often hear businesses say that they are, quote, family owned and operated, which leads you to think, how often are the owners of the company involved in day-to-day operations? Well, when it comes to Newman Roofing, I can personally tell you that I met with Tim. I met with his daughters. They have 4 family members of Newman Roofing overseeing the different divisions of the company, ensuring that an excellent customer service experience is going to be provided to you every time. Folks, I can personally testify they were great with my wife and I, and they will do the same for you. With Newman Roofing, their family focuses on every detail, and it allows them to deliver that white glove experience, not just for me, but for everyone, that you're not going to get with those larger corporations. 32 years in business, 3 generations in the roofing industry. They can do it all, and they will take care of you. So before those winter storms hit, have Newman Roofing come out and take a look. Whether it's a repair or replacement, Newman has you covered at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Every 4 years, the world watches every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-298-9532. 800-298-9532. Again, that's 800-298-9532. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. We now have confirmation of what we all already thought, and that is Deshaun Watson did, in fact, tear his Achilles. The Browns have confirmed that the injury will require a surgical repair, and he will miss the remainder of the 2024 season. But wait, there's more. Browns backup quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson is awaiting MRI results after injuring his middle finger on his throwing hand. If both QBs are out, it'll be famous Jameis time in Cleveland. We got a Monday night doubleheader tonight, by the way. Ravens and Buccaneers will lead us off. Chargers and Cardinals will close us out, and that'll bring a wrap to this week. In college, we have a new AP poll to tell you about. Oregon is the new king of the hill. Georgia jumps up to number 2. Penn State and Ohio State remain at 3 and 4, and Texas drops down to replace Georgia at number 5. This update is brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus. From F-150 to F-750, Valley Ford of Columbus is Ohio's commercial truck headquarters. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's the point of watching football all weekend if you can't overanalyze it?
Reaction Monday is sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. Anthony once got Jack Nicklaus to quote the movie Caddyshack, so he's got that going for him.
The last time I saw a mouth like that, I had a hook.
Which is nice. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Let's go while we're young.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. Matty Ice, DeVier Posey, the former Buckeye and Grey Cup MVP in the house. Appreciate your time on a Reaction Monday, bottom of the hour. We'll talk all things NFL with Jason B. Hirschhorn. Does a great job of covering the league over at The Leap. We'll pick his brain on everything that went on Sunday. It was an eventful Sunday, that's for sure. This just coming down, Depo, in regards to Ohio State football. We know that their next game, or this weekend, they'll kick off at noon, and it looks like the following game against Penn State on the road will be a noon kickoff as well. So a couple high noon kickoffs in a row here for Ohio State taking on Nebraska and Penn State. Always a great vibe over there when Ohio State goes into Penn State's house. Wish it was a night game, got to be honest, because the whiteout is it's an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah.
But high noon next couple weeks. So there you go. Just wanted to get that news out there.
Yes.
That just came down.
So you know what that means for us.
6:30, baby.
6:30.
Bright and early, or dark and early, as we call it.
Dark and early. It's going to be chilly.
It's going to be, well, this weekend I saw we'll probably be in the early 40s, but that's chilly. So it's not cold.
Yeah.
But it's chilly. And then the next week we'll be nice and cozy in here. You know, we'll be nice and cozy in here. So Buckeyes now coming back off the bye. I think the emotions of the Oregon loss are still out there for some people, and I completely understand. You were so close to going on the road in a tough place, in a tough venue, and beating what looks to be one of the best teams in the country, and Oregon didn't have that letdown the following week, because we've seen that right around college football. Some teams pick up that big win the following week. It happened to Bama, right? They beat Georgia. Next game, go to Vandy and get clipped. Oregon stayed locked in and went into Purdue and handled business. So before we dive into some Ohio State stuff, I did want to play some sound, because there's some chatter out there, and sometimes things are murky when it comes to injuries. But I know over on the podcast, Jeremy Birmingham, Bill Landis, those guys do a great job of covering Ohio State. They had maybe a little bit of insight as to what's going on, and specifically with Lathan Ransom.
There was reports about Quinshon Judkins having a hand procedure, but those reports were immediately couched by saying he won't miss any time. So if Ryan Day saying we're going to get some other guys back, we'll get some guys back and other guys will be out for a while, it makes you wonder. We've heard some rumors about maybe something in the secondary with Lathan Ransom. I don't know, we don't want to wildly speculate, but in my experience in this industry, generally those rumors start percolating because of something happening. They generally don't begin without some real fire. So the questions you have to ask yourself then, if you lose Lathan Ransom even for a week or two. Like, what happens? Is it Jordan Hancock sliding back to play the deep safety next to Caleb Downs? I think that's probably the answer. And then you have to ask yourself, is Lorenzo Styles ready to play the slot? Or do you put Jermaine Matthews out there and say, hey, now's your time, bud?
So there you go again, and then that sound comes from the podcast. If you're a Buckeye fan, check out those guys, Berman and Landis, and everybody over there to do a tremendous job of covering the Scarlet and Gray. So here we are, Depo, and this is not going to surprise you as a former player. I don't think it should surprise any of us that are football fans when you get to this point in the year.
Yep.
And you stack up these weeks and days of the grind, this is what is going to happen. And so there was a lot of conversation I remember going into the season, not just from Coach Day, but a lot of college football coaches around the sport at media days when I was sitting there watching SEC Media Day and Big 12 Media Day and all that stuff, right? The importance of depth was really something coaches hammered home this year.
Yep.
Because of the expanded playoffs. So now here we are, and we'll hear from Coach Day tomorrow, and we'll have the presser for you live right here on Rothman and Ice. So don't miss that tomorrow. But now here we are with Ohio State facing adversity in two different forms, right? You got to respond to the loss when you lose by a point and almost get it done. But also, it sounds like they've got some guys that they rely on a lot that are a little bit banged up. And so we'll see if those guys got to miss a bunch of time, no time, whatever it is. We may get some clarity from Coach Day. But Ohio State, I think, now has to get off the mat and show that, one, they can answer adversity, but two, this is putting the coaches, I think, to the test a little bit as far as the talent that they've developed along the way.
Yeah, obviously just the depth going into the season, like you were highlighting, is the most important thing, just like any NFL team, right? Like, it has to be handled with the NFL mindset this year. And as these games are starting to wear on and you're putting up these 50-point games, you know, you might want to get those starters out, right? You might want to make sure you're preserving those guys. I don't think we should be stat chasing more focus on the schedule and how long the schedule is this year. So in terms of Ransom going down, that really worries me. And, you know, a little bit more than Judkins, just because our safeties and our secondary has been a strong point up into, you know, last week against Oregon when we gave up 32 points. But we needed to make adjustments in that back end during these 2 weeks off. And so if you're missing a guy that needs to make those adjustments, you know, what is the answer there? Do you, like you said, we were listening to that pod, you know, recording. Do you go and put Hancock at safety? Do you put Jermaine Matthews in at slot? Like, well, how do you slide all these guys over? But I'm not worried about our depth in saying all of this. Something does have to happen because of injury, but I think this roster is built for situations like this.
For me, when they kick things off at high noon this weekend against Dylan Raiola and the Cornhuskers, and Vegas was telling us over at Bet365, Ohio State favored by 25.5 points. So this should be a situation to where they do handle business. It's the trenches on both sides of the ball. Because you mentioned the potential injury stuff going on the back end. Want to see what Jack, JT, Tyleek, and what those guys can do, because unfortunately in that Oregon game, Dylan Gabriel seemed to be very comfortable throughout the game.
Yeah, man. I think our rush hasn't been a pest, you know, like I thought it would be. Yeah. And I remember in the spring they had a package to where CJ Hicks would stand up on the D-line, and I was over at practice and I saw him, you know, getting some rush on the quarterback, giving Will Howard and those guys some problems there, and, you know, kind of slid Jack and JTT in a little bit, and they went with 3 D linemen instead of 4. I would love to see maybe a glimpse at that package, maybe throw that in there a little bit, see if we can get a rush there with CJ, put some more, you know, headhunters out there, you know, see if he can stand up, go from 2 feet. I would like to see something like that.
I would love to see some more creativity up there for sure, because whatever they're doing right now isn't working, I think, at a high enough level. We've seen it work in spots, and they can be disruptive. But as far as when you look at the next 2 matchups for them, you got 2 quarterbacks who aren't really guys that are going to run away from you. I don't think Nebraska or Penn State are going to have a whole bunch of RPO plays drawn up for Dylan Raiola and Drew Aller in the following game. So you want to disrupt their timing by getting home, right, and getting those guys to the ground. So that's what I can't wait to see this weekend. And also the Josh Simmons injury is massive, right? When you lose a guy that was playing at such a high level there on the left side of that offensive line, what have they done over the last handful of days to get guys ready and have that unit meshing together very well? So, yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see what Ohio State looks like coming out of that loss to Oregon and their second bye week. This past weekend was interesting, my man, when it comes to college football over the weekend. What was intriguing for you? Was it Indiana, Nebraska? Was it the Texas game against Georgia? What jumped out to you coming out of this past weekend around the national landscape?
2 games popped out to me. I mean, I think the Big Ten is obviously the best conference. And I think the Illinois-Michigan game was pretty mind-blowing. And then also just how about Mike Locksley and the Terps getting the dub, at home and rushing the field versus USC. And I got to say it on there, I was wrong about the Trojans. Really wrong. They went and got popped by the Terps this weekend, man, and that was pretty crazy. And then the Buffaloes, man, they're continuing to roll. Dion and company are continuing to roll right now. They're playing a lot better. If you talk about improvement from year to year, they're a better football team than they were last year.
How are they not in the top 25? I'm not understanding. Sure. What am I missing here?
Not sure. I mean, they have 2 losses, Nebraska and
what is going on? Am I looking at this right? Because I thought for sure that they would be in the top 25 after they lost to Nebraska and they lost to Kansas State.
But
they only lost by. That's interesting to me. Okay. Okay. So they got Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, and Oklahoma State left on their schedule. I think the eye opener for a lot of people around the country is the Indiana situation. Now they have
America's team.
What they are, I think, for some people. I think they really have wrapped their arms around this Indiana team, right? This kind of Cinderella vibe that they have to them. They're 7-0. They're 13th in the country. But now what do they do as far as their offense dealing with this Curtis Rourke thumb injury? Because reports coming out of the weekend is that he's going to be out indefinitely. You never want to hear that. But as far as one of the most explosive offenses, not only in the Big Ten, but also in the country, that has been Indiana. So now Indiana at 7-0 will host Washington this week, and then they will go on the road to Michigan State, and then the next 2 will be big for them when they host Michigan, and then they come here to Ohio State on November 23rd. But Kirk Cignetti, man, and his coaching staff and what they've been able to do, infusing that town, that university, but more importantly, that locker room with transfer guys and guys he believed in from other locations, man, it's been a lot of fun. They put it on Nebraska, kicked their teeth in 56-7.
Absolutely. Bringing that JMU culture over to Bloomington. And I think it was 13 transfers that came over that are helping Coach Cignetti, instill his culture, instill his winning environment already with some players there. Then they added some transfers like Curtis Rourke from Ohio. And it's just like, this is what the portal gets you. It gets you immediate success, especially when you got a coach that can, direct it in this way. And it's hard for me to not like Coach Cignetti. I like people who say, hey, Google me.
I'm about that action, boss.
About that action. And then he goes out there and backs it up each week.
Yeah.
And you just feel this team. To me, for Ohio State, obviously, I'm not going to, the Penn State game. I'm going to be here in studio with you. So
appreciate that.
And this Michigan game, yes, I want to beat Michigan. But the game that I'm most excited for, and the game I'm going to, I have to see
Indiana.
I'm going to the Indiana game, and I can't believe I'm saying it. I'm hyped for that game.
We are potentially looking at a 10-0 Indiana.
I'm hyped.
Coming in to Columbus against Ohio State. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the season? Quickly, just a quick reaction before we go to break in that Georgia-Texas game. This was the first time I watched Georgia this year, and I felt like, oh, that's a Georgia defense I remember watching under Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
They had some bite to it, man. They really had some bite to it. And Jalen Walker, if you watch that game, number 11 for Georgia, was just all over the place balling. And they had 3 sacks in the game. I'm like, my goodness.
He played absolutely great. And then also just I'm so unsure about Carson Beck, just as his performance in these big games has kind of been up and down, but still able to get the job done. And
his draft stock is taking a hit. That's for sure.
It's taking a hit.
No question.
But he's the good and the bad with him. I'll take the good. But how about Texas just starting this quarterback controversy?
They had to do it. They had to get Arch in there to see if they could get anything from them. At the end of the day, their offensive line got cooked in this game.
Well, it puts you in a place where Georgia is in two-man, right? And they're getting a rush off. The only free person is the quarterback. And so you're like, they're daring Quinn to run. So you have to use the legs of Arch, and then it wasn't enough.
Yeah,
so
tough look. It'll be interesting to see what Sark has to say about what they're doing moving forward. When we come back, the NBA season tips off tomorrow, and unfortunately, up in Cleveland, the Cavs got some bad news about one of their key players. We'll talk about that next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Ready to be the change and have a positive impact on your community? Consider joining the Columbus Division of Police. Starting pay is $70,000 plus, growing to 6 figures after 4 years of service. We offer paid vacations, paid holidays, and health insurance. Do you aspire to complete your degree? We offer 100% tuition reimbursement after you complete your first year of service. Contact the CPD recruiting unit at jobs@columbuspolice.org or apply online at columbus.gov/government/jobs. The City of Columbus is an equal opportunity employer. Get your X to the Lodge for the freshest menu additions. Spice up your wing order with new sauces featuring the chicken tikka or spicy chili crisp. Or try our famous flatbreads with the backyard barbecue brisket or chicken tikka. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
I didn't expect to, but I need to get a new health insurance plan. The good news is I found Health Markets. I went to healthmarkets.com and saw plans available in my area. They have access to more than 200 carriers across the country. And if you need help, you can just speak with a licensed insurance agent. It's all right there for you.
Discover the advantages of real personalized service today at healthmarkets.com. Health Markets Insurance Agency, Inc. is licensed as an insurance agency nationwide except in Massachusetts. Paid actor per trail.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where Ohio Basement Authority comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at ohiobasementauthority.com/row.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
One great idea can change your life.
ABC Fridays. Shark Tank is all new.
That's the American dream right there.
With guest shark Todd Graves, founder of Raising Cane's.
I want to be on a team with you.
Emmy-winning Shark Tank, Fridays 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Most radio stations suck. Here's why. They don't invest in local programming. We're live and local 14 hours a day. You can rest assured that every stupid thing we say is 100% local. Homegrown dumb since day one. The Fan.
There's a shocking new government report about the border crisis Sherrod Brown created. According to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, almost 500,000 convicted criminals have entered our country illegally, including nearly 30,000 found guilty of murder and sexual assault, including rape in their home countries. Now they are spread out across America because of Sherrod Brown's policies. But Sherrod Brown says,
I don't hear a lot about immigration from voters.
That's because Sherrod Brown doesn't listen to voters anymore. And while our safety is being jeopardized, Sherrod Brown is making sure illegals get taxpayer-funded benefits, like health care for illegals who get amnesty, Social Security, even COVID relief checks, all paid for by you. 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Just how liberal could Sherrod Brown be? What are his actual votes?
Well, he backed bills to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports and let transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms.
Very liberal.
Brown supported allowing children to receive puberty blockers and even sex change surgery.
Super liberal.
And worse, Brown even voted to allow late-term partial birth abortions, a procedure where the baby is partially delivered alive. That's right. Brown's votes for partial birth abortion are in the congressional record. And Sherrod Brown voted to allow this terrible procedure, not once, not twice, but 6 different times over 8 years.
That's radical liberal.
Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's just way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
High pressure will deliver sunny and warm weather for the next 3 days. Sunny out there today, high 77. Tonight we get down to 47. Tomorrow, sunny, high 78. Wednesday, sunny, high 77. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice, the #1 rated midday show in Columbus.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, welcome back in. Batty Ice, CB back in the building. Got the former Buckeye wide receiver DeVier Posey in the house today. Bottom of the hour, we'll go back to the NFL. Jason B. Hirschhorn covers the NFL for the league. We'll pick his brain on everything coming out of this past Sunday and going into Monday night. We got a doubleheader tonight, Depo, but this is one of those odd doubleheaders as far as where you can locate the game. So you will get Ravens and Buccaneers tonight, and that kicks off at 8:15 on ESPN and ABC. And then if you're interested, whether that's because of betting or fantasy or whatever, you will get the Chargers and the Cardinals kicking off at 9 p.m. on ESPN+. But that first game that kicks off at 8:15, very interesting, right? With the way that the Ravens have, racked up 3 wins in a row. And then you look at Tampa coming in this thing at 4-2 as well. I'm expecting a lot of points in this one. I looked earlier, and the over-under was 50.5 points.
Ooh.
So Vegas is expecting Lamar and Baker to maybe light up the scoreboard and put on a show tonight. But definitely a very fascinating game happening down in Flow Rider tonight, Depo.
Oh, man, super excited for that game. I mean, just to see Baker just having this season that he's having, just reemerging. And obviously, you talk about the NFC and top 5 teams. The Buccaneers are in it. I mean, they got Chris Godwin playing good again. Obviously, Mike Evans is doing what he's doing. They're healthy. The defense is playing great. And this team can obviously make a push for the NFC Championship, right with the Vikings and right with the Lions. They're in it with the Eagles, too.
They got that playoff experience last year, picked up a playoff dub last year against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I was interested to see what it would look like when you subtract Dave Canales from the equation, right? With him being their OC a year ago and now taking over as the Panthers head coach. But because of what you mentioned and the chemistry that they racked up last year, I think they were able to hit the ground running. So could be an entertaining game down there in Tampa tonight with Lamar and company coming into town. I always say, for me personally, this is my favorite time of the year, and it really takes off for me tomorrow because the National Basketball Association officially tips off tomorrow. You get a doubleheader. You'll start with the Knicks and the reigning champs in Boston. Then you'll get the nightcap of the Minnesota Timberwolves going into L.A. to take on LeBron and the Lakers. But I think up in Cleveland this year, there's a lot of, I think, excitement / pessimism that I've felt from Cavalier fans that I've talked to just because of the uncertainty when it comes to the core 4, right? The core 4 of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. And they're running it back with a new head coach in Kenny Atkinson. And I think that Knicks playoff loss from a couple years ago is still hovering over this fan base just a little bit because you saw those guys not be able to get it done. And then last year you had injuries with Jared and Darius and Donovan. It was just a clunky year as far as those guys getting on the same page. But that's why I think it's going to be so interesting to see what this looks like starting here in a couple of days for the Cavs is what can Kenny Atkinson do to get those guys, that core 4, to play at an elite level together. because now they're all tied to the hip. Financially, all those guys are taken care of. And it seems like Kenny Atkinson has some confidence, but that is what's going to take, I believe, this team to a higher heights, is those guys being able to play together in crunch time moments and being able to have a good flow on the offensive end.
For this Cavs team going into the 2024 season, for them, best situation, I believe Evan Mobley is in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation.
Yeah.
If not the Defensive Player of the Year. 3 of their players are Eastern Conference All-Stars, Garland, Mitchell, Mobley. Those guys, even maybe Allen is in there. One of those, 3 out of those 4 are playing at All-Star levels. They cap out at, maybe a top 3 seed in the East. And health. They got to stay healthy. And if they can push this team out of everybody last year, I believe they gave Boston the biggest, games in the playoffs up until Dallas. So they can play at a high level. They just got to stay healthy, and those guys got to be playing, like they're paid right now.
No question. You mentioned health, and unfortunately, that is something that hasn't worked out well for them to start the year. Because we found out coming out of the weekend that Max Strus, one of their key players in that rotation, small forward for them, will miss at least 6 weeks with a right ankle injury. So that is a tough blow. But now maybe you slide Isaac Okoro back into that starting role. Maybe you see some Dean Wade or somebody else. Isaac Okoro got himself a 3-year deal this offseason. So obviously they have confidence in him and his ability to step up. But Max is one of those guys that Depo can space the floor, knock down some shots, decent on the defensive end. So you got the big 4, which is a great way to start, but you took a hit in your starting rotation. And so, yeah, man, it'll be definitely an interesting scene as far as how they stack up amongst the elites in the East.
Yeah.
I like that they got pushed to 7 games by Orlando last year in that series. That was a grind for them. Vegas is telling us Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, and the Knicks should be the top 4. But I do believe, and you nailed this, they have all-star talent. This isn't some cute story up in Cleveland with just a guy here and guy. They got guys that can be aircraft carriers.
They have to play like that.
Any given night. So the Eastern Conference is going to be absolutely fun to watch there. But Kenny Atkinson, he coached Jared Allen before.
Yep.
And so he knows what to do to get him right when those guys were together over in Brooklyn. But this is going to come down to, I believe, at the end of the day, Evan Mobley's offensive ceiling is really what could open things up for this franchise, because you're right about the defense. I think that's always going to be a constant his entire career.
Yep.
But if Evan Mobley can expand his bag on the offensive end, this Cleveland Cavaliers team could be a fun. I think they're going to be fun to watch regardless. But if he can do that, now they're really cooking with some hot grease.
Yeah, absolutely. Just expanding his offensive bag, being able to make those mid-range shots, obviously back to the back basket, rim running, things like that. I would like to see him be able to make that 3 at the top of the key.
Yeah.
But, when you're paid that amount of money, you kind of got to, for me, his ceiling to me is like he's a Kevin Garnett. He's a 2024 Kevin Garnett with his body type and his length. He's not like Kevin Garnett with his demeanor.
No, not at all. Not at all.
He's a nice 23-year-old kid.
Yeah.
But we need to see mean Evan for this team to go ahead and be a mainstay in this Eastern Conference Finals, because they're young enough and they have the right core to compete with these. I think even just future-wise, like they're built to, compete with Boston and New York better than Milwaukee, better than Washington, better than Toronto.
Atlanta. They got runways, what you're saying.
I mean, I think they have a better core than the Pacers.
Well, I wouldn't disagree. Yeah. I would not disagree with you. Season starts for them up in Toronto Wednesday. Home opener will be Friday against the Detroit Pistons. When we come back, Jason B. Hirschhorn will hop on to talk about everything that we witnessed around the NFL next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and Tebow.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Scotty Vegas for Maxima Concrete. From a basic driveway replacement to a complex in-ground pool, patio, or outdoor kitchen installation, Maxima can do it all. Broom finish, stamped and colored, or exposed aggregate concrete, pavers, fire pits, seating walls, even lighting. Maxima is is all in-house. Never any subs, so hire the guys that'll actually perform the work. Mention this ad for $250 off your next project. Still plenty of time left this season, so get a free estimate today by visiting MaximaConcrete.com.
It's Rocktober, baby! It's Rocktober at Lindsay Honda.
Just announced for the rest of October, we're lowering the finance rate to 0.9% on every new Lindsay Honda. And you still get the Lindsay Honda difference. A $1,295 value package included with every vehicle purchase.
This is it.
Turn up the noise with Lindsay Honda.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24 and 25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
Every 4 years, the world watches every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Rise and shine, jabronis.
What a show this morning.
There's only one place where Buckeye legends lay the smackdown. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekday mornings starting at 6.
Give me a juice box, Bianca.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's majestic golden eagles and other less majestic birds taunting you through the baseball-sized hole in your new windows. It's soaring guitar solos performed through faulty wiring in your garage, which subsequently erupts into flames. It's also round-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Want to jinx your favorite sports team?
Please get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
Just ask Maddie to print your shirts. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, welcome back into Rothman and Ice. Time to light up right now the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and bring on one of our favorites. He's Jason B. Hirschhorn, award-winning NFL and college football writer, co-founder of The Leap, a Packers newsletter. Jason, happy Reaction Monday. How are you?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Doing really, really well. Before we get to some NFC North conversation, let's get your reaction to some unfortunate news up in Cleveland, X and O wise now for the Brownies at the most important position. It looks like Deshaun Watson is now done with an Achilles injury. Hit us with your reaction to what's next for Cleveland and where you think they should go from here.
In the short run, the Browns have actually made this even more complicated than it needed to be, because going into this past weekend, they had Jameis Winston, the presumptive number 2 quarterback for pretty much the entire season to date. They had him inactive, a healthy scratch, and instead used Dorian Thompson-Robinson as their backup. And then when Watson went down with his Achilles injury, it was Dorian Thompson-Robinson who went in. He himself went down with a finger injury, and then Winston came in as the emergency third quarterback. So it is not entirely clear to the outside how these quarterbacks, the healthy ones anyway, are going to be stacked up by the coaching staff. I suspect Jameis Winston will indeed step into that role as the starter, not just because it's not clear exactly when Dorian Thompson-Robinson will be back from his finger injury, but just because I think that move might not have been motivated by purely football reasons when they basically made him inactive going into week 7. So I think Winston's going to be the guy, at least this upcoming game. But beyond that, it's really hard to say. This is obviously a very unique situation in the NFL.
So let's go to the NFC North and the team that you cover very well, and the Green Bay Packers. I mean, the NFC North, between the Packers and Texans and Lions and Vikings, both games delivered, in my opinion. But let's focus on Houston taking on Green Bay. Green Bay comes out of that with a 2-point win. Just talk about what you learned now about the Packers now here after a few weeks. Jordan Love's back in the mix and beating one of the best teams in the AFC.
If all you saw was the final score of that game, and it may be the last sequence where the Packers had that game-winning drive ended with the field goal, you'd think that it was a closely fought game between two really good teams. However, if you watch the entire game, that was really a dominating performance by Green Bay where they just shot themselves in the foot at certain moments. So there was the 2 Love interceptions. There was also a muffed punt. 2 of those 3 turnovers gave Houston the ball deep in Green Bay territory, and those led to points. I think 16 total points came off of those turnovers. But if you just look at how the Houston offense performed, I mean, C.J. Stroud, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, finished with under 100 passing yards. This was an offense that didn't convert a third down by passing until the fourth quarter, and they were just atrocious on third down in general. Like, this was a dominant performance by the Packers defense. That's not something we've been able to say about that team in a long, long time. So if that defense is going to be able to hold down some of the better offenses, and we now have a few weeks of this unit performing that way, and we know what the Packers offense can do week in, week out when Jordan Love is under center, that is a recipe for being one of the better teams in the NFC North. That'd be a recipe for ultimately being one of the best teams in the NFL. So I think that was a very impressive showing by Green Bay, even though the final score makes it seem like a very close affair overall.
Jason B. Hirschhorn, award-winning NFL and college football writer, co-founder of The Leap, a Packers newsletter, joining us here on The Fan via the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Let's go to Lions and Vikings. Lions now get to 5-1 after a late field goal there. No Aiden Hutchinson for them now moving forward. When you look at the Lions and how they're constructed, do you still believe that they have a Super Bowl ceiling, or do you look at their roster now specifically on defense and think they have to make a move on that defensive line to get to a Super Bowl ceiling?
I don't know that they have to make a move, but it's probably advisable for them to do so. What the Lions have done with Aiden Hutchinson out, and to a certain degree what they were doing when he was still there, was tuning up the pressure, adding extra pass rushers, leaning into the blitz. It's something that defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn has been willing to do. And that's a high variance kind of approach because sometimes it's going to lead to sacks, right? Like, that's why you do it. On the other hand, if the offense is able to beat that pressure, there's very little defense, very little coverage available to slow down what that team is doing in the passing game. So it's something that they can do, and it's something that can win them games. Under the right circumstances, it will work. But I do think it's probably better for that team if they're able to bring in someone else that can help with that pass rush. So I don't know something they have to do to win these regular season games, at least not enough where it's going to affect their playoff standing. As it stands right now, they're currently the number one team in the NFC, that number one seed. But I do think it makes sense for them to continue to look for a veteran pass rush that they can add, because you don't want to put that much pressure on your secondary in general, let alone one that is so reliant on rookies this year.
So let's bring it back to the AFC North and talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and get your thoughts on Russell Wilson and his debut in a Steeler uniform. Most points they scored this season, 37 in prime time yesterday. When you looked at how that offense operated against the Jets defense, what were your thoughts?
Well, I thought they were very reliant upon contested catches, specifically with George Pickens. And that's something that he can do, and it's something that they'll be able to do with some regularity because of their personnel. But it's not something you can rely on every single week. And we saw Russell Wilson, in some cases, he just sort of dirtballed a lot of easier throws. Now, he hasn't played much football over the last, whatever it's been now, 8 months. So you can understand how that happens. There's going to be some rust he has to shake off. But still, I think there are some concerns as to whether or not the ceiling is that much higher with Russell Wilson. Now, obviously they had a great point output, and it was against a very good defense, so you can't take that away from them. But there's just certain situations, and they pointed this out on the broadcast, where Russell Wilson had an open lane to run because that's how the defenses will approach him at this point in his career, and he just wasn't able to take it. Whereas Justin Fields, for whatever limitations he might have as a passer relative to Russell Wilson, he can take off and run and really punish defenses in that way. So I understand why the Steelers felt it was a beneficial move to switch to Russell Wilson, and it may end up proving to be a net positive. But I still think we need to see more out of Wilson before we can say that he's definitively the best option they have moving forward.
So we had a Super Bowl rematch out there in Santa Clara yesterday. Chiefs get the 6-0. Final score of that one, 28-18. When you look at the Chiefs offensively, I know there was some smoke out there about, maybe they're interested in Amari Cooper or some other wide receivers. Offensively, do they have enough, or do you think their front office needs to take a swing at potentially another wide receiver or some type of playmaker for them?
I don't even think it's a matter of should they do it. I think it's very clear that they plan to do so if possible. It's great for the Chiefs that they have won all of these games despite very inconsistent offensive play, but they know that this is a window that they have to maximize, right? Like they're the two-time defending champion. They can become the first three-time winner of the Super Bowl consecutively. Like, they are not going to take their foot off the gas. And there are reasons to believe that there will be not just one, maybe multiple capable veteran wide receivers available between now and the trade deadline. So I don't think the Chiefs are just going to say, hey, we like what we've seen from Xavier Worthy. We've got enough ancillary pieces, and we have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We can just ham and egg this to a Super Bowl. I think that they're going to do whatever they have to reinforce and bolster that passing game so that even if it's not what we saw, 3-4 years ago during their peak, it's still a better, more reliable unit than it is right now.
Jason, we'll get you out of here on this one. If you had to pick one NFC East team to ride with the rest of the way, which squad would you pick?
To a certain degree, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do think it's the Washington Commanders. Like, this is a team where, by far, they've been the most impressive on both sides of the ball. That I believe as of this moment, they're the only team in that division with a positive point differential. And I think there's something like plus 66. That's like third or fourth in the conference. And it's not just a coincidence, right? Like Jaden Daniels and the offense have been extremely effective. And the defense has already come together under Dan Quinn, something that we know that he can do from his time in Dallas and previous stops. So you look at all those things together, and yeah, there are still holes in that roster. There are holes in all of those AFC East rosters. But I'll take their problems over the ones you see with the Dallas Cowboys, with the Philadelphia Eagles, and certainly with the New York Giants. So if we're projecting based on what we've seen so far, I think it's hard not to say the Washington Commanders.
He's Jason B. Hirschhorn, award-winning NFL and college football writer, co-founder of The Leap, a Packers newsletter. Jason, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us on a Reaction Monday.
All right, take care, guys.
See you, Jason. He was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. When we come back, it's Buckeye Bulletin time. The Buckeye basketball team went on the road, had an exhibition game against the Cincinnati Bearcats. You'll hear from Jake Diebler on his thoughts on their performance to start the year next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony. If you want to make the best deal in town on a new Honda, make sure you visit my friends at your main Honda of Dublin. They're on Sawmill Road, just south of 270. And Rich tells me you're going to get 1.90% APR up to 60 months on most new 24s and 25 Hondas. They'll give you the details. Of course, you'll get same-day service, no appointment needed. And how about an extra $1,000 for your trade if you have a 2014 or newer vehicle? All with the great people at your main Honda of Dublin.
Trust Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code Columbus now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust & Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place. And aspiring comedian.
That's fun. What's your best joke?
All right, two windows were hanging out side by side. The first window says, "Sure is a hot day." The other one says, "Ah, a talking window."
That's pretty good, Wilson.
Bet you can't top that one.
Well, at Pella, we don't have the talking windows, but we do have the windows your friends will talk about.
Dang it, that's good.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted at PellaColumbus.com.
At AAA, it's our policy to look on the plus side, and AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin. Last Monday, his coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. It was just the jolt of energy he needed. Later, when he walked into a door, he was happy to provide entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And when his car battery took early retirement, he knew expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA.
Become a AAA Plus member and experience peace of mind on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
The Buckeye Show.
Jim Lachey back in the day just pointing.
We going right here, and it's not a dang thing you can do about it.
The Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light and sponsored by CareSource.
Weeknights at 6 on The Fan.
We've seen it before. Politicians and lobbyists playing games, drawing voting maps to keep power in their hands, not ours. Courts have ruled Ohio's voting districts unconstitutional 7 times, while our communities have been left out again and again. But this November, you have a chance to change that with Issue 1. Issue 1 will make it illegal for politicians to manipulate voting districts for themselves or their own party. Instead, it creates an open, transparent process where a diverse group of citizens, not politicians, will draw the lines. No more backroom deals, no more gerrymandering, just fairer maps that represent our communities. Issue 1 gives you and me the power to ensure everyone's vote counts. This is about real change, a chance to end the games and make our voices heard. So vote yes on Issue 1, fair representation, and power to the people. Paid for by citizens, not politicians.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast. And all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another furnace breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day furnace installation.
All right, Depo, let's knock out a Buckeye Bulletin. DeVier Posey in the house today for AR. You know, we're so knee-deep in football season right now. It could be easy to forget that Buckeye basketball is right around the corner, right? It's right around the corner. We talked a ton this offseason about the football team and new faces here, new faces there via the portal or whatever it may be. Same thing could be said about this Ohio State basketball team with a couple of the bigs that are new and Michi Johnson coming back home and all those things. So it's going to possibly take some time for this all to come together. So Jake Diebler, his squad, went down to the Natty on Friday. Cincinnati, I believe, is ranked inside the top 20, 25 for sure. Not exactly sure where they're ranked right now. But it was an exhibition game. And look, they come back to Columbus and a little bit of the licking their wounds type of vibe. But it's early, and this doesn't count. But before we dive into some of the things that happened, let's hear from the head honcho. Here's Jake Diebler on, maybe in a situation like this, wanting to shine a light on some of the things they got to work on.
Certainly would have liked to play a little bit better, but, we accomplished what at least I was hoping to accomplish going into this game, and that's getting exposed in a couple areas, and I felt like we were exposed on the glass, and we knew that. They were an elite offensive rebounding team last year, so we knew that going in, and, wanted to see kind of the fight and the resiliency we would show there. So that was something, I anticipated them being really good at, which was good for us to go against because we got tape, we got, we can go back, evaluate that, and really start to get better.
Depo, I'm sure you've experienced this, right, as a former player playing at a high level at a few different spots. What I just heard from Coach was a little bit of that preseason vibe, right, where you guys can work on certain things and maybe not have everything up on the menu just yet to order. So you don't want to freak out too much about these things, but sometimes I think in the tone I just got from Coach Diebler is, okay, you get, punched in the mouth in certain areas. Gives us something to work on in the lab now moving forward.
That's the best part about these charity games, man. These preseason games in college basketball is hard to get. But this team, obviously this Cincinnati team, Jizzle James and Josh Reed and those guys, they have a good squad coming back, right? I mean, this team is a tournament team this year. And this Buckeye team, like Coach Diebler is talking about, needs to work on offensive rebounding, but at the same time, you scored 31 points in the first half. You scored 31 points in the second half. Where's our outside shooting come from, right? And now that we have film, now that we can work on, we need to be hitting these shots. These are the shots we need to take. These are the shots we don't need to take. The ball needs to be in this guy's hands versus this guy's hands. It's a good early season test for these guys, going to get some good in-state competition, raising money for a good cause. No blood, no draw foul here, but it's a good learning experience. And like you said, most important, we got some film.
No doubt about it. Here's Coach Diebler talking about one thing that may have been missing from this exhibition game, and that's pace.
All in all, the biggest thing for me was I felt like we lacked a little bit of pace at times. We got to keep pushing that because I think that could be a real weapon for us. We had some good possessions, but back to Columbus. Watch this on the way home and get ready to have a good one tomorrow.
It's one thing I noticed last year when Coach Diebler took over was that specific word, and that was pace. That you had guys grabbing the rebounds and going, right, and really applying pressure to the defense. What I'll be interested to see is, can they generate pace outside of Bruce and outside of Michi and some of the ball handlers that we're expecting? Can any of that come from the bigs? Yeah. Because that's when you really become dangerous, is if you have a big that can grab the rebound, push it up to his guys, or maybe even do a little bit of the dribbling himself up the floor. No Aaron Bradshaw in this one. That was one of those guys that came through the portal that I believe they're expecting a lot from. So we heard from Coach when it came to lack of rebounding. I think Aaron Bradshaw can be a guy that helps out in that category. But Depo, if you are a team that can play at a high clip with your speed, that can wear teams down throughout games, and I do think they have the ability to do that this year.
No, they definitely do. I mean, and also not to mention, wasn't mentioned was the lineup changes, right? Yeah. I mean, they were trying out different things, and that might, have contributed to the slow pace, just trying to see what lineups work, getting a lot of guys playing time, seeing what's, throwing what, different lineups against the wall and seeing what sticks. So I'm pretty sure that rotation will tighten up here, as we get to the season opener versus number 19 Texas in Las Vegas, at the beginning of next month. So gives us about, 15, 20 days to clear some things up, Maddie. No need to panic.
Don't panic. Just relax. We got time. You mentioned it. CB and I were talking about it before the show. Shooting right around 36% as a team. Not great. Not great. So that'll be interesting to see what that looks like, and can they be an efficient offensive team moving forward. But still very excited to see what the basketball side of things looks like this year. Wanted to mention this, if you missed it earlier, we do have an official kickoff time for the Ohio State and Penn State matchup coming up on November 2nd. That game will be kicked off at noon. So big noon kickoff with our guy Brady Quinn. And if you're new to the program, we have Brady Quinn on every Friday at 12:33 to highlight some of the big games coming up for the weekend. But Brady and his crew, Mark Ingram, Coach Meyer, Matt Leinart, everybody over there, they will be heavily involved with Ohio State the next 2 weeks, Depo, for their next couple of games. Nebraska's a high noon kick, and now Penn State is a high noon kick. So I think that actually works out well. You tell me if I'm wrong, for the team not having to go in there when it's, dark and rocking. It's going to be rocking, but it feels to me, and CB's been there, like he knows it's traveling with Paul and the gang over there, like, and you played in these games, that when the sun is up there for the whiteout, that's
not as effective.
Not as spooky, right?
Yeah, I think I played out there on a 3:30 game, and the second half was a night game in November. But that whiteout could get crazy at night. You just don't want
Seven Nation Army.
Yeah, you just don't want that smoke. So but to your point about Big Ten being heavily involved in Ohio State, like, it just continues to support my sentiments on. I think the Big Ten is hands down the best conference in football this year.
Some good ball being played.
Some good ball being played, man. I mean, these teams are showing it in the polls, even all the way down to, Wisconsin and Illinois. Yeah. I mean, these teams are good. I mean, Maryland beating, USC.
Yeah.
Rutgers had a nice little run. And Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, man, the Big Ten is
rolling.
The best league in the country this year.
That is today's Buckeye Bulletin. Top of the hour, after the update, we promised CBJ tickets to tomorrow night's game against Toronto. Puck drop at 7:30. We will give away those tickets right after the break, and also some NFL takeaways from this past Sunday. What did we learn about some teams, some players around the National Football League? We'll chop it up about all things pigskin next in the deep dive. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan, it's always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. If your fall is anything like the people in my neighborhood, your weekends are full of driving kids to endless soccer things. So if you're going to be on the road, be as comfortable as possible. 4 out of 5 doctors recommend a new Lexus. That's not true, but I recommend it. Deal time, 2.99% finance rate on a 2024 RX. That's madness. 4.49% finance rate for a 2025 NX. And you can get up to $5,000 lease cash for a 2024 RX. Check them out online, JermaineLexus.com.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of of your equipment. I'm on the Care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+, subject to program terms at dooutdoors.com and 12/31/24, void or prohibited.
Jeremy Foltz, CEO and co-founder of 3C Technology Solutions, speaks about working with First Bank of Central Ohio.
I think FBCO had a really nice personal touch. Transition was really easy and much cleaner than I thought it would be. Some very specific things that made me very excited to work with them are availability and creativity.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text POWER to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text POWER to 42424. That's POWER to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. We now have confirmation of what we all already thought. Deshaun Watson did, in fact, tear his Achilles. The Browns have confirmed that the injury will require a surgical repair, and he will miss the remainder of the season. But wait, there's more. Browns backup quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson is awaiting MRI results after injuring his middle finger on his throwing hand. If both QBs are out, it will be famous Jameis time in Cleveland. And in college, we have a new AP poll to tell you about. Oregon is the new king of the hill. Georgia jumps up to number 2. Penn State and Ohio State remain at 3 and 4. And Texas drops down to replace Georgia at number 5. Also, Ohio State will get big noon kickoff back-to-back weeks. They already have it this week against Nebraska. They will have it again on the road at Penn State next week. This update is brought to you by Dormar Heating and Air Conditioning. Need an emergency repair? Dormar can be there today, guaranteed. Visit them at dormarheating.com.
It's Reaction Monday, where our highly trained experts talk football.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
Your home for reaction and overreaction, The Fan. Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Maxima Concrete. Visit MaximaConcrete.com today to schedule your free estimate.
All right, welcome back in. Matty Ice, CB, DeVier Posey, the former Buckeye wide receiver and Grey Cup MVP in the house today. For AR bottom of the hour, we do it every Monday at 2:33. Ian Fitzsimmons covers college football for ESPN, joins us to talk about this past weekend. But right now, we made a promise. At some point in time today, we were giving away CBJ tickets to tomorrow night's game at home against the Maple Leafs. Puck drop is at 7:30. We are giving away those tickets right now. 614-821-9710 is CB's hotline number. Party like a RothStar. Every Monday, we round it out in our last segment to get us to 1 o'clock. We shine a light on guys that had a tremendous weekend balling out in their respective realm of sports. on my list of players this week, had a Major League Baseball player. Who was the baseball player I had on my Party Like a RothStar list today? If you get that right, CB has a hot, fresh pair of CBJ tickets to tomorrow's game against Toronto at 7:30 and nationwide. Depo, let's get into some NFL reaction conversation right now, because I can't do it. I can't do AR does a great job of the under a slate gray something like that. I can't do it.
NFL Films
I
voice.
can't do it. AR kills it every week. I can't do it. Let's start with this though, before we go back to some reaction. News out of Miami, down in the 305. It looks like Tua's coming back.
Yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa designated to come off IR this week. He still has to go through concussion protocol. This coming from Shefty, but it does seem like he's on track to play this weekend against the Arizona Cardinals. What I find interesting about this is, you remember the conversation this all season when it came to Tua. It was a lot of disrespect, in my opinion. A lot of people saying it's the system. It's Tyreek, it's Waddle, it's Achane. This offense has been in shambles since Tua has gone down. And so the AFC East, the Jets have left the door open for them. The Bills look like they're going to maybe run away with this thing, potentially. But Tua coming back is a big-time boost for Miami, and their offense, I think, will now round back into positive form, man.
Absolutely. Got to protect all your assets, though, with Tua. His health is of the utmost importance. Cannot afford, personally and for this team, another concussion. This team has been in a rut with his absence. I'm excited for the Dolphins to get back rolling. I miss that Mike McDaniels high-flying offense, and you can't do it without the single caller. So super excited for Tua to come back. Just want to make sure he's making the best decision for his health and that he finishes the season healthy.
Yeah, that's it. Because we're at a point now where it's definitely scary, man. When you're talking about dealing with the brain and all of those things there. Real quick before we go back to some takeaways, I do want to go back to the Bengals quickly, and let's hear from Joe Burrow on the team playing some complimentary football.
Our defense really stepped up the last 2 weeks. Big special teams touchdown today. So it's nice to see that the other units are picking up the slack where others aren't, and that's what football is all about. So, we found ways to win the last 2 weeks.
Right out of the gate, Depo, punching the Browns right in the chin. Charlie Jones takes it to the crib. Look, you don't ever, I don't think, have to ask too much outside of your special teams when you have the offensive firepower that they have, but that's like finding a $20 bill on the couch yesterday for Cincinnati. And so they're now this team that a lot of people had confidence in, and rightfully so, even when their record didn't look very good. It's because of the man we just heard from, and now they've hit their stride. And they're one of those teams, there's a team that gets labeled like, if you're one of the 1 seeds or the 2 seeds, this is the team you don't want to play. If they get in,
wild card,
that's probably going to be Cincinnati now moving forward, man.
Absolutely, this team can get rolling, playing complimentary football, special teams, getting a kick. Obviously, the defense, Trey Hendrickson getting in the backfield. I think Sam Hubbard had a pick.
He did,
yesterday.
He did.
So just being able to create some turnovers. When you have a balanced team and you can get production on all 3 phases. With as talented as the Bengals are and as much experience as the Bengals have with this group, these guys have all been to the mountaintop. They want to get back there.
No question. Last one from the Bengals. Here's Zach Taylor on Burrow's 2 touchdown passes against the Brownies.
Great timing, great anticipation. The one was a conversion to Jamar that he got in the air and gave Jamar a chance to adjust to it versus bump, and Jamar did that. They've got 1 billion reps on that. So that obviously was a huge one to kind of break it open for us a little bit, and then got the right coverage on the shot to T. Joe did a great job with the ball placement. T ran through it. T's caught that ball in games, 50 times, and had similar reactions like that. And so again, 2 guys in the receiver room and our quarterback that provided huge sparks for us at the right moment, and guys we can always count on.
You know what really jumps out to me about T. Higgins, because he had that quick little slant Depo and got it and took it to the crib. It's his size. Right.
6'5".
Yeah, man. They got these 2 star wide receivers, and they're built differently. Jamar can do a little bit of everything. He's got the explosiveness and the route tree, and T's really obviously great as well. But like watching the game yesterday, like obviously I watched him for a few years now, but it just jumped out to me is the frame that he has and the problems that it causes for defensive backs.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they're really focused this year. It's a contract year for both of these men.
Yeah.
And they want these productive games. Like, I mean, T has to go out and make plays. Jamar is just as thirsty. They both want a big deal. Will it be in Cincinnati?
We shall see.
I don't know. But somebody's going to sign both of these guys. And like you said, T. Higgins, 6'5", 215, 220 frame. Jamar Chase, about 6'1", 6 foot, but can run every single route, tunnel screens, jet sweeps, slants, goes, slot, outside. Man, he could just do it all, man. He could do it all.
They got it all. Jamar Chase right now, after yesterday's performance, leads the National Football League in receiving yards and has 6 touchdown grabs as well, which leads the league. So Jamar is putting it together. Takeaways for you, Depo. One takeaway from yesterday's slate of games. What did you like? Maybe something you didn't like, something you're worried about for a team moving forward. What jumped out to you yesterday?
What jumped out to me, the Chiefs are still the best team in the NFL. Wow. You know, the playoffs go through Kansas City. The championship goes through Kansas City, no matter how well Travis Kelce is playing, no matter who he's dating. They got Patrick Mahomes, and it is a very good football team that they have. And then also, when Jordan Love is on the field, the Packers have potentially one of the, if not, I'll say it, yeah, they have the best receiving core in the league.
Really?
Those young dudes can play and they can get open. And like we were talking about it, they have so many options in the receiver core, even with the tight end. So it's Jordan Love and that group can be scary.
So if I gave you the Bengals room, Vikings room, Houston's room, right now you would draft the Packers wide receiver core number 1 overall.
I would take them for the next 3 years. Yeah, for the next 3 years, I would take them.
I think to your point, when you line up against Green Bay, it's not one of those offenses where you know this specific guy is getting a 22, 23% target share.
Yeah.
They just got balance.
It's spread out.
It could be Wicks one week. It could be Dobbs, Reed, Watson. They have tremendous balance, and they nailed it at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
And now here the Green Bay Packers are at 5-2. The Minnesota Vikings are 5-1, and the Detroit Lions as well are 5-1. The NFC North right now is the best division in football. Best division in football, and I didn't have that on my bingo card.
It's been a while since that.
Right, and it's
Brett
fun.
Favre, Dante Culpepper, Culpepper days.
Those type of squads.
Days.
And it's because the Bears are doing their thing. They're holding up their end of the bargain.
Stafford.
You brought up the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's just if they have the core, the battery of Andy Reid, Mahomes, and Kelce, they're going to be just fine because the ancillary pieces on offense.
I'll just say Mahomes and Andy Reid.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair because you have the mastermind and you have the guy that absolutely can grab the steering wheel and take them where they want to go. But I was talking about this with my friends yesterday, and when you look at Kansas City, and it's so much when it comes to the narrative is driven around Mahomes, and I get it, right? He's one of the best to ever do it.
Talk about that defense.
It's every phase of the game.
Talk about it.
For Kansas City.
Talk about it.
Their defense is elite. They have arguably the best kicker in the game.
Yes.
They just do everything. So I don't think that gets talked about enough, is that Kansas City is a complete squad.
Complete team.
They are just such a – last year their defense was top 3 in the NFL. This year their defense is really good again. And on special teams they're good as well. And you did a great job of highlighting earlier why this Pittsburgh team may become scarier as the games come along because of what they do in all 3 phases of the game.
Yeah.
And so that's where Kansas City's at. And they might mess around and trade for DeAndre Hopkins or Deontay Johnson or somebody like that. So they're doing their thing there for sure. Listen, I got to give it to the Bills.
Got to.
I was impressed yesterday. Now, Amari Cooper did have another drop early on in the game. He had bad drop, leading the league in drops, but he did catch a touchdown pass in this game as well. So I know they didn't face a formidable quarterback yesterday against Tennessee with Mason Rudolph and all of that. But now here the Bills are at 5-2. So I have to give them some love. That was one of my takeaways yesterday is now it looks like Buffalo has the ability to really become explosive again through the air. Because I didn't really see them as an explosive aerial team prior to yesterday. But what it did was, now that Amari Cooper is in the building, guess what? That's going to make our first-round pick look a lot better. And Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman yesterday, 4 catches, $125 in the game. Amari Cooper, 4 catches, 66 and a tutty. Khalil Shakir, 7 catches, 65 yards. So now I think what we're looking at is Coops in town. Guys are slide where they need to be. Now Keon Coleman as a rookie doesn't have to see the number 1 corner. Khalil Shakir doesn't have to see the number 1 corner in spots. And so whether it's the tight end and Kincaid or whether these 2 other receivers with Coop in the house now, this Buffalo Bills offense, I think, is going to be a force moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. And how about Sean Payton and getting it done versus old squad?
Oh, my gosh.
You know, I mean, the rookie of the year, offensive rookie year is his heavily favored Jaden Daniels. I get it. But Bo Nix has a future in this league, and Bo Nix is putting together a great rookie season.
I like it.
And Sean Payton is looking like he's here to stay. He has his quarterback of the future. Saw a little conversation with Alvin Kamara and Coach Payton after the game. I'm not a lip reader, but I'm pretty sure it was like, come get me.
I miss you.
I miss you. Come get me.
Those are your takeaways for Reaction Monday. CB, did we get a winner for the jacket tickets?
Yeah, a lot of guesses across the board. We did have a Dylan Sampson guess, which was incorrect because we said the baseball player, not the college football player.
Yeah.
But Clayton knew that it was Tommy. Is it Edman or Eidman?
Tommy Edman.
But yes, the Dodgers player.
Shout out to you, Clayton. And it all makes sense that we have a Clayton win the prize because I talked about an LA Dodger, and one of the all-time greats is Clayton Kershaw. So I liked how that all came together. Coming up next in Pre-Snap Reads, one NFL analyst says those San Francisco 49ers, the old Super Bowl window, it's closed. Do we agree? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice right here on
Death, taxes, and beating Michigan every damn year. This is your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Just how liberal could Sherrod Brown be? What are his actual votes?
Well, he backed bills to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports and let transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms.
Very liberal.
Brown supported allowing children to receive puberty blockers and even sex change surgery.
Super liberal.
And worse, Brown even voted to allow late-term partial birth abortions, a procedure where the baby is partially delivered alive. That's right. Brown's votes for partial birth abortion are in the congressional record. And Sherrod Brown voted to allow this terrible procedure, not once, not twice, but 6 different times over 8 years.
That's radical liberal.
Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's just way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
You want Jersey Mike's signature sub, you get a number 13 original Italian. You want a dramatic radio idea? You get me. Like this. I'm the 7th-string quarterback and the other 6 quarterbacks go down. The coach yells, DeVito, you're in. The crowd is worried until I throw a touchdown. But the other team is celebrating. Apparently, I threw the Jersey Mike's number 13 original Italian I was eating on the sidelines. Whoops. The number 13 original Italian, Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with 0 experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Here at The Fan, we give you 14 hours of live and local programming every day. We care about you. We live and work in your community, except Bo Bishop. He won't tell us where the hell he is. Your live and local station, except Bo. The Fan.
At Roof Revivers, we save not only your roof, but your money too. Whether you need a quick repair or a full replacement, we've got you covered. While many companies jump straight to replacements, we always start with repairs. Replacements, that's our last resort. We'll provide a clear, detailed explanation of what your roof needs, complete with photos, so you know exactly why.
With over 350 five-star reviews on Google, honesty is at the heart of everything we do. Roof Revivers is ready to work for you. Visit roofrevivers.com today. Roof Revivers, we fix leaky roofs.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Just how liberal could Sherrod Brown be? What are his actual votes?
Well, he backed bills to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports and let transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms.
Very liberal.
Brown supported allowing children to receive puberty blockers and even sex change surgery.
Super liberal.
And worse, Brown even voted to allow late-term partial birth abortions, a procedure where the baby is partially delivered alive. That's right. Brown's votes for partial birth abortion are in the congressional record. And Sherrod Brown voted to allow this terrible procedure not once, not twice, but 6 different times over 8 years.
That's radical liberal.
Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's just way too liberal for Ohio.
Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A sunny and warm day expected today. We are expecting a lot of blue sky. Temperatures 77 this afternoon, so very warm. Not quite as chilly tonight, but still cool enough for a sweater or jacket. Low 47, 78, and sunny on your Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by the Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, let me let you know that at Bet365, they are the Cleveland Guardians' exclusive mobile sports betting partner. CB, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. The Yankees had to do it too. Y'all hung in there. You hung in there for a while, but they just they're nicknamed Depo the Bronx Bombers for a reason.
Yep.
And when you have Juan Soto and Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge, just the home run is just such a deadly weapon. And Juan Soto, man, that home run he hit was just, I know Guardian fans don't like it. It was a crazy moment. It was a fun moment for me just as a baseball fan that wasn't invested on either side of it. But
you just felt like you had to play the perfect game for 4 games in order to win the series.
I know. It just felt like at some point in time throughout the game, CB, you knew the haymaker was coming from them. And it did. It felt like in every game, whether it was Stanton, Judge, or Soto. But I think prior to the season, if I would have told you guys were playing in the ALCS, probably would have took it, right? You probably would have took it, especially when you had the injuries to your starting pitcher. I thought it was a good year for a rookie manager, and the Guardians aren't going anywhere. They'll be a force to be reckoned with moving forward. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary, folks. See for yourself. When you sign up today and get $200 in bonus bets, when you bet just $5. Depo, I'm looking at this Ravens-Buccaneers matchup tonight. Monday Night Football kickoff at 8:15 on ESPN and ABC. Vegas is expecting a lot of points in this one. I think both secondaries could be had in this. How do you feel about pairing an anytime touchdown for Mike Evans at plus 120 with an anytime touchdown for Zay Flowers at plus 137?
I'll go with anytime touchdown, Zay Flowers.
Okay, you like that one.
Yes, sir.
So we'll go anytime touchdown for Zay Flowers tonight at plus 137. Real quick, just a little sidebar. Derrick Henry, the value is just gone for anytime touchdowns for him. Minus 250. Vegas is like every week. He's scored. Derrick Henry has been incredible over there in Baltimore. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only. Must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Let's go over to the NFC West because here we are with the San Francisco 49ers taking it on the chin. Look, you lose the Kansas City Chiefs, it's never a bad thing, but the 49ers view themselves as their equal, I think, based off of their Super Bowl appearances. Only put up 18 points in the game. They had some injuries, right? Ayuk left the game. I believe Debo left the game as well. But now you wake up on a reaction Monday and you got guys like Damien Woody over at ESPN and NFL analysts saying things like this.
49ers Super Bowl window was closed. It was closed. I will say this. The one thing about the 49ers, once you get in the door, you damn well better take advantage of it. Because Teddy knows this. We all know this. You play deep in the playoffs every year. You know what catches up to you? Health. That's one component to going a long distance is you have to be healthy. They are not healthy because they've played deep almost every single year and they haven't capitalized.
Do you agree with him that their Super Bowl window is closed?
If not, the door is cracked with like a little bit of light showing through. It's here's the thing with young teams and guys on rookie contracts. You got to cash out when guys are on rookie deals. You might be able to have 1-2 guys on each side of the ball. But when guys are starting to ask for money, age, health all get mixed in, and you don't have a Super Bowl, it's the same. It's the same issue I think for the Bengals right now too. If the Bengals don't cash out this year, like literally saying that if the Bengals don't win the Super Bowl this year, I think their window with this group has possibly closed too. Yeah. It's just Purdy is up. Ayuk just got a deal. He just tore his ACL. Kittle's probably going to need one in the next two years. Bosa's going to outplay this deal. Yeah. You know, Warner's going to outplay his deal. And you got Warner as a 4th-round pick. You know, he's going to want to go and get paid somewhere. Like he can go and be one of the top linebackers paid. You know, so it's very tight in terms of, and then you look at the moves they made in the draft, the draft capital they've given away just to get McCaffrey. Yeah, he's not out there. The Madden cover athlete is not on the field. I might have to echo the sentiment, man. I'm agreeing.
To add to your point as well, how many good to great years can they continue to get from Trent Williams, who's up there at age, and he plays the most important position on the offensive line at left tackle. Talking about a guy
he's going to want to win a Super Bowl.
Right, in his mid-30s. So they got, I don't want to say lucky, but they were fortunate last year to have CMC give them a clean bill of health from start to finish. Now you turn the page. Who knows if he shows up this year? You just mentioned the Ayuk ACL injury, and that's been out there. Ian Rappaport reported this morning that they do believe that he did tear his ACL. Yeah. You talk about a nightmare scenario for one specific player in a franchise. It's been this Brandon Ayuk deal all year.
Well, he's lucky. He's lucky.
Got his bag.
That's why you hold out.
Get your bag.
This is why you hold out. For everybody who's talking stuff about him and everything like that, this is why you do that, because you want to make sure you lock up your future, because you go out there and play, anything can happen on a Sunday.
100% right.
Yeah.
You're so right about it. And you mentioned Purdy, and when you stripped away, and you can say this for a lot of quarterbacks, I get it, some people call it the Avengers, right? Where you have, Ayuk and Kittle and all those guys, yada, yada, yada. What are they going to do contract-wise with a guy like Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to see what that looks like. But because of this Ayuk injury and the uncertainty around CMC, like we're talking, what is it, Achilles tendonitis, both legs? I've never even heard of that.
Where you go, to Germany?
Yeah, flew overseas, I believe, somewhere. May have been Germany. When you start to get those type of second opinions across the pond, obviously not good news at all. So their record says right now that they're not cooked. They're 3-4.
Yeah.
They're second in their division over in the NFC West, but will they be able to overcome all of this? That would be definitely interesting to see. Those are your pre-snap reads for today. Coming up next, our guy, Ian Fitzsimmons, covers college football for ESPN. We'll get his thoughts on Texas, that situation going up against the Dogs, and what's next for Ohio State coming out of their bye week. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
If you don't like listening to Morning Juice, Bobby Carpenter's man nipples will punch you in the face. For real.
You want to fight, do you? Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Bob and Beam here. Enjoy all the NFL action with a chance to win on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win on tonight's game. So how about that? We got an option here. The Ravens and the Bucks. Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield. You got action all over the place. You can parlay some passing yards on the over. Maybe get a Mark Andrews anytime touchdown. It's all there for you. You smash it together, Beam. And then you got your SGP, the $5, winning you the $300 in bonus bets if you bet on tonight's game.
That's right, Bob. There's a ton of different ways to do it. You got your Parlay Hub, Popular Bets, FanDuel Squares. I like a same-game parlay. It's very easy. All you need to do, head to FanDuel.com/juice to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years older. Present in Ohio. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is not withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at columbussubaru.com or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 2.9% for up to 72 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 72 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 10/31/24.
Hey Columbus, Caden Curry here, Ohio State student athlete for Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. When it comes to hard work, whether on the field or the farm, I need something that's as tough and reliable as I am. That's why I trust Kubota diesel tractors from Green & Sons. Kubota's diesel tractor motors are high-powered, reliable, and don't stop running, just how I like to play. So when you're serious about getting the job done, you need the Kubota equipment you can trust from Green & Sons. Check them out at greenandsons.com or stop by one of their stores in Mount Sterling and in Raymond, north of Marysville.
Join our resident gambling degenerates, Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money, Wednesday night at 8.
Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility. The Fan.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Every 4 years, the world watches every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony used to ski in his jeans? Are you serious? No, he's not from New Jersey. Back to Rothman and Ice.
All right, welcome back in. Matty Ice got the former Buckeye wide receiver DeVier Posey in the house. Gonna light up right now. The Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Bring on our guy. College football stud Ian Fitzsimmons over at ESPN joins us again on a wonderful reaction Monday. Ian, how you feeling, my man? How we doing today?
Posey, man, it's been a while, bud. How you been, man? You slumming today, huh?
What's up, Ian? Doing great, man. How you doing? Just playing the dad life,
well.
and being a husband, and talking some ball,
Maddie
man.
out of the ditch, all right? Do your best, right? Whatever you can do, man. Let's get that done. Boys, had a good one, man. I've been field stormed back-to-back weeks now. LSU, Ole Miss 2 weeks ago, and then Alabama at Tennessee on Saturday night. That's the beauty of college football, man. You have absolutely we think we know something, but you know what? We really don't. Yeah. I mean, and if you'd have told me that Tennessee in the second half was going to beat the ever-loving snot out of Alabama, and Alabama was going to be that undisciplined, man, I'd have told you were smoking crack. But, man, it was remarkable to watch. And that field storm, there ain't nothing better. You know, I mean, and if there a better check to cut, right? Because the SEC fines you $250 grand, so $250,000. Is there a better check that anybody can stroke for $250,000 than a field storm in college football?
Yeah,
to me, hell no. It's worth every penny.
So I'm watching that game, Ian, and I'm like, okay, I understand that Ryan Williams is a dude. He's absolutely a dude. But when you got to overwhelm him the way that they did with targets, that tells me a little bit about your offense, right? And like, okay, where are the other dudes at? When you watch Alabama operate on offense, they're not a scary unit to me right now on that side of the ball.
They got away from running the ball, and then they got two guys that can tote it, man, and Miller and Haynes. And then they did. They completely got away from running the football. And Tennessee, give them full credit, man, because that offensive line, outside of Cooper Mays at center, has been, especially at left tackle at Lance Hurd, they've been a turnstile. But when you chuck it 45 times like that, and you're targeting Ryan Williams, a 17-year-old, who is phenomenal. I mean, the guy you guys have there at Ohio State wearing 4, and Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams are the two most electric freshmen that we have seen in a while at wide receiver. But that dude there in Columbus is built different than Ryan Williams. He's got muscles in his toenails, and Williams is still he's built more like Devontae Smith, which, he got the nickname the Slim Reaper when he was at Bama. But, man, and is Ryan Williams special? Absolutely. But 18 targets, Milroe locked in on him. And Milroe missed wide open guys. I mean, when I say wide open, one ball almost hit me in the forehead when he had Haynes wide open on the left boundary. I mean, for a big first down in the second quarter, and he almost tattooed me right between the eyeballs, right? So now I'm 6 yards out of bounds, guys. So, but again, if when you're looking at a 12-team playoff, is Bama out of it? Absolutely not. Did Tennessee put themselves more firmly in the playoff? Absolutely. And that goes to show you how wide open college football is now, the 12-team playoff.
Love it, Ian. Wanted to ask you about what's going on down in Austin. I mean, the rest of the schedule, they can't have a letdown this week versus Vanderbilt, number 25 ranked, but you got Florida.
Vandy, right?
Right,
I mean, get that hell out again.
Yeah,
Dude.
man. I want to know what's Sarkisian, what's Arch Manning, what's Quinn Ewers, what's that quarterback room like this week, this Sunday? What was that meeting like? It was an awkward exchange there. Obviously you're looking for a spark, but you don't want to lose Ewers then also you needed a spark. And, you wanted to use the legs of Manning. How does this team move forward at the quarterback position?
To me, it's still Ewers' team. I didn't like Sark, and look, we've all known Sark a long time, and that Texas team is built like an SEC football team. But welcome to the Southeastern Conference. You mentioned Vandy. There is nothing given on any football weekend. Same as the Big Ten. I mean, that's why they are 1A, 1B, depending on the weekend, as far as the best conference in college football. But I did not like Sark switching to Manning in the middle of the game. Posey, you're a wide receiver. You played. Mm-hmm. Now you're sitting there going, all right, well, who's our guy?
Yep.
And to me, that has to be delivered yesterday in a very firm manner.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, now I'm not in the room, man, right? I'm one of those guys saying, hey, Russell Wilson, hell no, right, for the Steelers. I mean, it's Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. That's your quarterback. He's 4-2. I was wrong, right? That's why Mike Tomlin, when you're in that room and watching it every day, you know a hell of a lot more than we do. So Sark knows a hell of a lot more than we do. But in the middle of that game, was Ewers moping a little bit? Absolutely he was. And you can't do that as a quarterback. That's one thing I'll give Jalen Milroe a lot of credit for. Watching him behind the bench, he never got too high, too low. He was just off. And then that led to awful. I mean, missing wide open guys, for Alabama. Ewers missed wide open guys also. Yeah. So Sark made the switch. Now you got to kill that. You have to make sure the team, everyone in that room knows who is your quarterback. And you can't fool players. You both played. Players know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to feel the pulse of that room and also go to your leadership group, and that is, all right, who are you following? And to me, it's still Quinn Ewers right now.
Talking all things college football with our guy Ian Fitzsimmons from ESPN. Let's stay there and talk about the other side of this thing, and that's Georgia. Because, Ian, I'm watching the game, and for the first time this year, I'm like, oh, that's an old Georgia D-line and defense that's showing up. What we've seen from Kirby Smart in the past right there.
Coach, we talked about this last week, right? Like, hey, man, whenever Georgia has a team that they're playing and they got a number next to them, right? Meaning if it's a top 5, top 10, number 1 Texas, Georgia is like, hell yeah, all right, let's go eat. Let's get some. I mean, we're going to beat the ever-loving hell out of somebody today. When they don't have playing a team that has that number next to them, meaning a ranked team, they're like, well, y'all feel like you want like vanilla ice cream with some apple pie? I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, is that like you want to go watch a movie? I mean, how's Susie doing? I mean, they're a different looking team, but man, did they show up again? And that goes to show you where when a team gets their jaw locked and wearing enamel off of their teeth, a team like Georgia can do what they did to the number 1 team in the country in Texas. And I thought Texas coming into Saturday was the clear-cut number 1 team. We talked about it last week, and Georgia comes in and shows them, you know what? You ain't all that yet. Welcome to the SEC.
Absolutely. And we're getting to the end of October, getting close to November. So you know what that means. Heisman campaigns are about to start. I'm going to throw 5 names at you. Tell me if I'm missing any, or tell me if these are the 5 you have. Genty, Hunter, Dart, Ward.
Coach, Genty's the guy.
Genty.
Okay.
Barry Sanders in 1988, right, set the all-time record for rushing yards. I think it was like 2,600 or whatever it was at Oklahoma State, right? Yeah. Whatever. He's on pace to break it.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Let that sink in, folks.
Yeah.
Boise State running back is on pace to break the all-time rushing record in the history of big boy college football. So to me, it's Genty, and then you got another level. And right now, I don't care that he doesn't play quarterback. And I'm one of those guys that Orlando Pace should have won the Heisman. He was the best player in college football.
Yes,
Warren Sapp should have won a Heisman, right? Best player in college football. So I don't care if it's not a quarterback. I know it's become a quarterback award outside of a few handfuls, Devontae Smith at wideout for Bama, Derrick Henry, 10 years ago. But to me, Genty right now and playing big boy competition. They gave Oregon, the number one team in the country right now, all they could handle, and he was a big part of it. Genty, to me, right now, is the front runner for the Heisman, and everybody else is behind him.
Ian, in our last minute, what have you heard about how scouts and NFL personnel feel about this quarterback class that's going to come out? Shador, Ward, Carson Beck, the people you talk to, who does the NFL really like as maybe the QB1 here?
So Jordan Reed, who I do the NFL draft with every year, outstanding NFL draft analyst for us here at ESPN. We had that exact conversation on the field before the Texas-Alabama game. And right now, man, you look at it, find me somebody playing better than Shador Sanders right now. Yeah. Is there? I'm asking you guys.
Cam Ward.
Well, then you're now, and I'm not a big believer in the whole, is he too small to play and all that stuff. I mean, look what Kyler Murray's done. Look what Baker Mayfield has done. I'm with you on that. Yeah. So you're talking about who scouts are talking about as QB1 right now, and most of them right now have Shador Sanders as QB1 coming out for the upcoming NFL draft in 2025.
Okay, there we go. Ian, great stuff as always. We love you and appreciate your time. We'll chop it up with you next week coming out of what looks like another fun weekend on the schedule around college football.
Chaos every single weekend in college football, right? I mean, have we not had one?
Yeah, it's been
get
a
ready.
ride.
Somebody's going to get humbled yet again this weekend. And Bobby, I'll leave you on this one. I took the trifecta for breakfast in Knoxville. I hit Cracker Barrel on Friday, Waffle House on Saturday,
Let's go.
IHOP on Sunday.
Can't lose.
That's winning.
I took the Pepsi Challenge. You know what my winner is?
What's that?
Waffle House.
What?
Why? Dude, the people watching and the eavesdropping on conversations, it doesn't get any better than a waffle and some hash browns scattered, covered, peppered, crispy, and listening to some inbreds. Just get after it. It doesn't get any better.
Ian, we love you, man. We'll talk to you next week. See ya.
See you, boys. See you.
He was on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We'll hit the end of the show next. We'll tell the truth. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Dormar, your climate hero.
Dorn, what's that guy yelling about in my noisemaker?
Dormar, your climate hero.
Your climate hero, you fossil?
What's a climate hero?
That's Dormar, our same-day heating and AC company we've used for 60 years.
Who?
Dormar, your climate hero.
Come on, Dad, you laugh every time you hear their tidy-whitey commercials.
Yep, those are funnier.
Dormar, your climate hero.
Trust & Will knows that you're likely celebrating a loved one's birthday this month because fall is the most popular birthday season in America. And Trust & Will celebrates by protecting what matters most. Trust & Will makes estate planning easy and affordable, designed by attorneys but customized by you. Visit trustandwill.com with offer code Columbus for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust & Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Common Man and T-Bone here for Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Bone, did you know the sportsbook is now called ESPN Bet?
I did, and you can watch your favorite teams on the biggest screens, place your bets, and grab some wings with an ice-cold pint.
Maybe you're too boring and don't want to go to the casino. Good news. You can keep the action going and place your bets on the go with the ESPN Bet app.
The ESPN Bet Sportsbook is your 50-yard line ticket to odds, point spreads, and over-unders.
It's the place to be. Losers must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Shop low prices and great deals all week long at Meijer. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more on hundreds of items across the store, like General Mills cereal, Swanson broth, and 12 packs of Coca-Cola or Pepsi products. And don't forget about the spooky good deals on Halloween items, such as buy 2, get 1 free Halloween snack or jumbo-sized candy, and 20% off Halloween tabletop serving, drinkware, and dinnerware. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Football season is here, and we have so much stuff. One station isn't enough. Find even more pigskin on ESPN Columbus.
Set your second preset to AM 1460 or 97.1 FM HD2, or listen on the Fan app.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something. Does it solve a problem? It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
ECO. Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step 1 is to pay Eco to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get Eco to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying Eco to fix your furnace is like putting money in the bank.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Get Eco.com.
It's Rocktober, baby!
It's Rocktober at Lindsay Honda.
Just announced for the rest of Rocktober, we're lowering the finance rate to 0.9% on every new Lindsay Honda. And you still get the Lindsay Honda difference. A $1,295 value package included with every vehicle purchase.
This is it.
Turn up the noise with Lindsay Honda.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24 and 25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
Gambling too much? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Mary Haven, where we offer in-person, virtual, and group options. We're here for you no matter what, and that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Go to maryhaven.com today.
The Christmas Cash Giveaway is now at UDF. With UDrive Plus, 1 in 7 can play to win prizes instantly, including $1,000 weekly by buying specially marked items at UDF. No purchase necessary. Visit udrivecontest.com for official rules.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, the Fan. Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
All right, CB, it's time for you to cook up Tell the Truth on a Reaction Monday. What do you got, man?
It's really funny how just anything can get a national day of today, but I saw today was National Apple Day. Just the fruit, the apple. So my question to you is, when you look at your rankings of your fruits, where does it rank?
See, here's the thing. I'm torn on this because if we're talking just like straight up apple slices or just eating an apple whole.
Maybe you can do it two different ways. Maybe just the standard apple and then the ways you can incorporate an apple into different foods.
Now, see, the latter right there is where it would rank fairly high for me because when we get into the world, Depo, of apple pie or apple crisp, that now we're cooking with some hot grease because apple pie and apple crisp with some vanilla ice cream is an elite combination as far as dessert. So that would be high for me. But when it comes to just regular fruit, I'm blueberries, orange slices, strawberries, and then we probably get the apple slices or just apples after that. So high on my dessert rankings, but just straight up fruit, it's in my top 5, but it's not top 2.
I would put apple top 3 for me.
Okay.
I would go orange, watermelon, apple. Yeah.
Watermelon is, especially in the summertime.
Absolutely.
Not a big fan of watermelon in the winter.
Yeah.
But you go to a nice cookout.
Yeah. But
you gotta have it.
The thing about an apple, have you ever just banged an apple mid-workout?
I haven't.
Bro, it's superpowers.
Really?
Or just do it in like mid-workout, mid-run.
Yeah.
Mid-game, like a halftime of like a rec game. If you're playing a game, just watch what it does.
Will it work if I take a jug of apple juice to the gym?
No, just eat a big old apple, crisp apple. and just watch how much just energy it gives you.
Are you a
to
red
finish it.
apple or a green apple type of guy?
Red apple.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I like it.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah, just imagine the sugar crash after you do that going to the gym. I'm sure that would be very, very
You
fun.
talking about my apple juice theory?
That's right, yeah.
I'm tripping.
I did see it was also pumpkin cheesecake day, so just great selection. I think it's pretty decent.
I don't know if I've ever had pumpkin cheesecake.
I don't think I've seen it at the Cheesecake Factory, but
Okay.
I'm willing to try it.
CB, you know how I get down with fall flavors. I grew up with sweet potato pie. We didn't do
Very solid.
Yeah, we never did a whole bunch of pumpkin pie. I'm not mad at pumpkin pie. I actually like. I had a couple years ago like these pumpkin cookies that were really moist, as my late grandma used to say, with some icing on there. Those got the job done. But I'm a sweet potato pie type of guy, Depo.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. I'm not really a pie guy.
For me, I don't really expand outside of sweet potato pie and apple pie. I'm more of a cake type of guy.
Yep.
Over
I'm a cake
pie.
and cookie guy. Yep.
Pie is great during the holiday season, but outside of that, I don't get into that too much.
I'm not a pie guy.
Let's talk about the three big opponents left on Ohio State's schedule. That is obviously Penn State, Michigan, and yes, Indiana is included in that mix. So the only road game of those three is Penn State. You're at home for Indiana and Michigan. If you have to rank those three opponents right now regarding the threat they pose to Ohio State, how would you do it?
Personally, I'm going to go with I'm going to go, obviously, Penn State 1, Indiana 2, Michigan.
Yeah,
but
that's where I'm at.
in terms of viewerships, which one I want to watch, I want to watch Indiana first. Then I want to watch Michigan. And then I want to watch Penn State.
I'm with you, though, with what you said out of the gate. It's Penn State, Indiana, and Michigan. But even though now we got this Curtis Rourke injury for Indiana, but I'll give them their credit.
Yeah.
You got to put some respect on their name. They're 7-0 to this point. Penn State has turned their offense around this year. Michigan, I don't know what they're doing on offense.
Yeah.
It's just been a bad product. So I'm with you. Give me Nittany Lions, Hoosiers, and Wolverines.
Did you say I know my truth?
I know my truth.
All right, quick final answer for today's fan poll. The question is this: has Deshaun Watson played his final snap for the Cleveland Browns? Yes or no?
I'm going to say yes, but I don't have a lot of confidence just because of the financials.
I will go with
a tough one, isn't it?
It is, man. It is. Because he got guaranteed money, and you seen Kirk Cousins battle back after Achilles, but they moved him. I'll go with no.
Okay, there we go.
I think he'll usher in a rookie quarterback next year.
The truth shall set you free.
If you missed anything from our show, Jim Lachey, Jason B. Hirschhorn talking NFL, or Ian Fitzsimmons hitting us with some college football reaction wherever you get your podcast. Type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting there for you. Don't forget, subscribe to the pod as well. Coming up on Common Man and T-Bone. Reaction Monday, Jason Stark at 5:34. Depo, appreciate you. We'll do it again tomorrow. Folks, we love you. Have a great day. Thanks for your time as always. Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, the Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
Download the Prime Sports Ohio app today or visit primesportsbook.com and use the promo code JUSTSPORTS for a welcome bonus of up to $100. Georgia now the national championship favorite after the win over Texas. Georgia is plus 330. Ohio State's now plus 450. Texas and Oregon come in at 5-1, and Penn State is 12-1 to win it all. For your Prime Sports Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com. Ends 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here. We all think we're doing the right thing, right? Grabbing that healthy cereal or that natural granola bar. But here's the deal. Most of the time, it's loaded with junk. Junk they can't even sell outside the United States. Full of ingredients we can't pronounce and chemicals that just slow us down. Yeah, this is an Awaken 180 message, but these stats are no joke. Almost half of American adults now have type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. Back in the 1950s, that number was just 1%. And it's not just us. 1 in 36 kids has autism now, 4 times higher than 20 years ago. What we're eating, it's affecting all of us. Navigating it, it's confusing. Add in rising rates of cancer, autoimmune diseases, even dementia. It's clear we've been fooled by food. Awaken 180 coaches know the game. They don't just treat the symptoms, they get to the root cause. Reverse the food curse at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like America's best-selling car, Toyota Camry. It's all hybrid all the time with available all-wheel drive. Now through November 4th, you can lease a Camry LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Every 4 years, the world watches every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing, those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard is celebrating 20 years of working for you. Join us Friday, October 25th from 10 to 2 at 3666 Lakin Road for our 20th anniversary event. For one day only, enjoy 20% savings on select rentals, and the first 20 guests receive a door prize. Enter to win special edition Bobcat Enterprises fleece hoodies and enjoy delicious food and fun. Bobcat Enterprises is locally owned and proud to have served our friends and neighbors in the Columbus area for 20 years. See you Friday, October 25th at Bobcat Enterprises